I forgot that I had boiled water for tea.
Oh.
How dare I forget such a thing?
Mm-hmm.
And my mic is now on.
There you go.
There we go. All right. Yeah. So hi everyone.
Hi.
We're back with tea time.
Tea time.
Tea time. Yay.
Your character actually looks different now.
Oh, okay.
It's now a lady.
Hello there.
A lady model.
Okay. All right. Okay. So
cashiers.
we are going to just continue where we left off, I guess.
Yeah. Hopefully we get pretty far today.
Yeah.
We have a lot of money and we have 2 franchise points. So we could play around with that a little bit. Our stockroom is looking immaculate.
Yes. Our
Completely
stockroom
full
is
of stuff.
beautiful. Look at that, you guys. Look at how prepared we are. It looks like they did an update.
Yeah, they did. I don't remember. I didn't really look into what it was, but
I need to fix my game category. Silly
Oh.
me. I do that sometimes. It's hard not to, it's hard to remember that.
yeah, you
Let's
have
see.
to get into like a
Okay.
routine with it, I think, in order for it to be easier for you to remember. Let me look and see real quick.
All right. Fixed. Fixed. All right. So I fixed the category. Everything's good. So yeah, because like they have these little like things on the sides of the shelves
Mm-hmm.
in here. I guess it's to hold them up and not make them fall. And the sign, I just noticed the sign. The elephant's gone.
Is he?
The elephant's
He
gone.
is. Where'd he
Oh
go?
my gosh.
Oh no, he's on the desk. He's smaller now. He has a
okay. All right.
You see him?
Yeah, I'm so relieved. I was really worried about the elephant.
He's not an astronaut anymore though. He has a cactus on his head now.
Yeah. It still says only cool people allowed though. I guess
This guy's
we're
messing
not...
with our cat. Get out of here.
Hey, yeah, leave the cat alone. Jeez. What's wrong with you, man?
It looks like the update was just like some small issues that the game was having. They just fixed some of those things. It says storage shelves will now remember the last product placed in them.
Mm-hmm.
So that employees that are doing stocking will put them back in the same spot, kind of a thing. So I think that's what the little things on the shelves are for. I guess.
That makes sense. Although we don't have any employees doing that, so...
That's true. It also says that employees will now prioritize restocking most empty shelves and keep iterating up to more filled ones.
Okay.
So that's something good to know. Let's see. There's a history to chat text messages that they added. Yeah, just something that aren't really important to us, I guess. So saving and loading should be way faster now.
The blackboard, like it looks like it's just cosmetic changes, but the background behind the food you order is gray instead of completely black.
Oh, okay. They also added some more
deal.
perks, it says. So there's more employee perks, so you can get more employees.
Oh, nice.
Ooh, there's a new perk that's employees will handle products in the checkout faster.
Ah, nice.
And there's one that's employees will place products faster.
Okay.
What
I'm
else
just
is
filling
there?
up a couple more things since we have the money to do it.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, they've added some things to the perks board a little bit.
Nice.
I got our cashier set, so they're ready to start the day whenever we are.
Okay.
Uh,
I swear, it's crazy. LT has got me, like, I have to do the crosswalk now. See how viewers influence streamers?
Right.
Like, you guys get in our heads, man. You get in our heads.
Okay, so let's see. Okay, so now it says we have 3 franchise points, when earlier it said 2. So
Okay.
I don't know where the other one came from. But we could
Interesting.
do, if we wanted to, with our extra cash, we could do unlock either sweets and snacks number 3 or hygiene number 3. Those are
Mm.
both 3 points. We still don't have enough for basic products 5 yet. But we could also do, like, there's some employee perks that we could unlock, like employees move faster or faster checkouts and things like that.
um, let's see. Let me take a look.
Yeah, take a look at the board and see what you think.
So employees move faster. Employees will handle products and checkout faster. Hiring an extra employee might be good. We can
What would we
get.
have them do?
I mean, it might be good to have another person with restock.
Yeah, maybe. That way we can
Or
focus
you know
more
what?
on...
Maybe somebody in storage, and that way we can do restock and not worry about storage as much. Well, what's the difference between restock and storage?
Yeah, I'm not absolutely sure about that. Let me look into that real quick. I forgot the name of the game for a second. I'm like, what are we playing? Okay, so it says...
And buying more chocolate. All right, so chat. I have snacks and beverages. I shall describe what I have. I have my usual big old thing of water. I have this ginormous Kit Kat mug that I got the year before last year. That was from Valentine's Day because it was ginormous and so it could hold a lot of tea. So I have some throat coat tea in there. I have some amazing grapes that my mom bought for me, that human mother bought. And they taste, I swear, I was just telling Ocha, they taste the way that Japanese grape candy tastes, if you can imagine that. They are incredibly good. And I have whippets. So I'm going to explain what whippets are for those who don't know. Whippets are from Canada. So the area I live in, we do have stores that have some Canadian products.
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorites is the maple leaf cookies.
Oh, those are really good.
Yeah. Oh, they're amazing. I actually introduced our friend Rorsch to them a few months ago. I sent him some. Heather and I sent him like a care package, and he was like, "Oh my God, these are amazing." So it's this specific company, Canadian company called Dare, and they make all kinds of cookies. So whippets, I'm trying to think of how to describe it for Americans because the closest thing I can think of is the tea cakes from the UK that have marshmallow in them.
Mm-hmm.
So what they are is I guess the closest thing I can say to what they're like is they're like a s'more. So they have like a cookie on the bottom, and then they have marshmallow over it, and then they're dipped in chocolate.
Yeah, I've had cookies like that before. They're really good.
Yeah. So the ones I got were raspberry, so they have like a little raspberry jam in them.
Mm-hmm.
But they have them plain too, without the raspberry, and I think they might have other flavors as well.
Yeah.
It's just that's what I have from. That was what was available, either the raspberry ones or the plain ones, and I like raspberry, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now the nice thing would be is if the sweet section let us add whippets. That would be lovely.
Yeah, exactly.
And
He's
the
like,
maple leaf cookies.
yeah. So I looked it up. The restocker will restock the shelves.
Mm-hmm.
The storage person will bring in boxes from the street and put them into storage.
Ah, okay.
So
That's useless. We don't need a storage
yeah,
person.
no,
I
yeah.
think a restocker will be helpful though.
Okay. We can do that then. Let's do, or well, we could do that, or yeah, let's just do it. Add another employee.
I
And we'll
don't think
have
we
them
we
on.
get enough customers that we really need another cashier at this point.
Yeah, no, we're still good on cashiers, I think. I did hire one restock person. I wonder where they are. Oh, here they come. They're walking in right now.
Okay.
So let's see what he does.
I like our personal products section.
Yeah, I
It's
do too.
very satisfying looking.
He's already going to work. I don't know what he's doing. Oh, he's filling up the freezer. Okay. So, oh, you know what he just did? I had the ice cream there before.
Mm.
And because of the way that they just changed the game, you have to, let me just turn him off for a second and fix this. Because I don't want two things of ice cream. You have to use the pricing gun to change what is
What the slot is for?
Yeah.
Got
so
it.
I just cleared it, so it should be good now. So I will set him back to restocking.
We could probably stock up some more on the hard cheeses, I think.
Okay.
I'm gonna order some of those.
So the Comté cheese and the Mimolette cheese, the Emmental and the skim cheese, I guess is what they're called.
So yeah, so here, let me tell you. Wait. So the Gruyere is fine. It's just the skim cheese and the Emmental cheese. Yes, Aspen, you're right. There's also a dog breed called a Whippet. They're kind of similar to what are they? Like the
Greyhounds?
Yes, they're like a smaller greyhound. They're kind of cute. Although still, if I ever get a dog, I would really probably get, if I wanted a specific breed, I would get a King Charles Cavalier Spaniel. Because there's just...
I always wanted to get a greyhound, like a retired greyhound.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I thought it would be fun to rescue a dog that used to have a job that no longer has a job.
Right. Yeah.
I bought the cheese.
The reason I like Cavalier King Charles Spaniels is they are excellent therapy dogs. They tend to be very smart, and they tend to have very sweet personalities.
Plus, they're super cute.
Yeah.
They're all fluffy.
And they're not too big.
They have a nice coat.
Yeah, and they don't bark a lot.
Yeah.
I'd get a pug because they're kind of similar in personality too, but I always worry about pugs with their breathing.
They have a lot of breathing problems.
Yeah, because they've been bred too much to have too snubbed a nose. Although
squishy noses.
Yeah, though Cavalier King Charles Spaniels have issues too, because sometimes their brains develop too big for their skulls. And they can have
like seizures and stuff.
Yeah. We have a lot of pink yogurt.
Yeah, we do.
Well, I guess we'll just get through them.
Yep.
Right.
Are we ready to open?
I think so.
Okay.
All
You're
right.
open.
And our restock person is going to just restock as needed?
Yes. So he will prioritize items that are more empty than others.
Okay.
And then work up towards ones that need more. So he's not really doing anything right now. So I think
I think we
all
filled
of our
everything
shelves
up.
are good. Yeah, I think we're good. So I think he's just gonna hang out in the office until some stuff sells down.
All right. Okay. Well, I'm going to grab a broom.
Okay. I need one too.
Yeah, and I will
there's one out
just
here.
keep an eye on. It's too bad we can't like hire somebody to be like the tidy up
Security
person.
guard.
Our security guard too. Oh my gosh, that would be awesome. I still feel like this jail cell is like, why is it here? We have
Yeah.
never used it.
I think it's so if you look at if you hit escape and bring up the like options and stuff like that, there is a on our names up in the upper left corner there is a punish option, so I bet it's to punish somebody. Like if
Okay.
somebody's being bad in your store, you can punish them for being bad.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Do.
There he is.
Yep.
I feel weird like not having names for our employees.
Yeah, yeah. Should we
Because
give
I
them
wanted to be
names?
like, I wanted to be like, good job, David, or like, you know what I mean?
Right, right. We should give them like
He's
really
restocking.
crazy names. Like, okay,
Yeah.
that girl over there, she's Theodora.
Yeah.
The guy at the register here, he is. I'm tempted to give him one of those names where it's like it's John but spelled Ghyon.
Yeah.
And then the restock guy. Gosh, what should we name him? Oh look, there's cash on the fall.
I'm trying to come up with like a really like big long name for him. Like
Maybe something hyphenated.
yeah. Like it's two names but it's one name.
Right.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. He's kind of he kind of keeps to himself. He's kind of a loner, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Maybe he's a loner because he has a very uncomfortable name.
Yeah.
Like his parents gave him a really bad name, like Pilot Inspector, and he just wants everybody to call him Pete, but nobody
Yeah.
does because they think calling him Pilot Inspector is funny, and it hurts
Did
his
you ever
feelings.
have you ever known anybody that went by a name other than their actual first name?
I've known some people who go by their middle names. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of times it's because they're like the second or the third or the fourth, and they're, whoever they got the name from, like everybody calls them like William or Bill or Willie, or, they've gone through so many nicknames that there aren't any nicknames left. So they go by the whatever their middle name is.
Oh yeah, I actually dated somebody that did that.
Yeah. One of my human cousins actually has a daughter. I'm not going to say her name because it's very unique. But her they she was when human cousin was pregnant, she was really reluctant to share with people what the first name was for the baby because people are so critical.
Yeah, for sure.
So she decided, she and her husband decided to share their daughter's middle name. But now, even though we know what her first name is, everybody calls her by her middle name because that's how we'd all been referring to her since,
Right.
they announced her middle name.
Yeah.
So, or actually, and it's not even that she goes by her middle name, it's a nickname for her middle name.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So, I mean, it's a cute name, and the meaning is really beautiful. It means tiara.
Oh.
But it's a very unusual name for the U.S. I'll just say that.
Yeah, okay.
I think yeah, and I think she likes being called that. I don't think she likes being called by her first name at all. I don't know if she even thinks of that as being like her name.
Yeah.
So, okay. Things are looking good in the personal products section.
That's good. What about like Broderick for him?
Broderick.
Or like Zachariah?
Zachariah. And he wants everybody to call him Zach, but nobody calls him Zach.
Yeah, everybody calls him his full legal name.
Yes. Including his middle name.
Yeah.
Which is probably some kind of weird name. Like, something that a Puritan would have.
Right. I did just notice that Zachariah is not recycling the boxes. He's just throwing them away. So
Well,
we're not
gosh.
getting that extra $1.50 off of those boxes.
Oh. I wonder if we can do something about that.
I don't know. Let me look. Supermarket. No, that just changes the name.
I wonder if we can move the here, I'm gonna just try something real quick. Oh,
Okay.
I should put this down. I wonder if we can move the recycling.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
Can I grab it?
Is there any options or anything?
No. No. I don't think we can. Zachariah Providence Sinclair. Recycle! Oh, I should get my broom back.
Apparently there is a perk that will make him recycle the boxes. I just looked it up.
Ah, okay.
So we have to find out which one that is.
Mm.
And work towards that, I guess. No, that's not it. Oh, it's all the way down here. Off of the wine, the alcohol line. It's like the very last thing that you can unlock in that line.
Oh, no.
I did also see a perk that says recycling boxes award 4 times as much, but that's on a different line on the franchise point board.
Mm-hmm.
So, let me see. That'll be 5, 6, 12, 13, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 points to get to employee recycle boxes.
Interesting.
So we have a ways to go for that yet.
Right.
Because I think we get one franchise point per level.
Yeah, well, we're still doing well on profit, so, I mean, I'm
Yeah,
not super worried.
$1.50 is not a huge
But, you know,
issue.
we should be recycling.
Yeah.
It's the responsible thing to do.
Yeah. We're not a very green company anymore.
Yeah, we were trying.
Zachariah's too lazy to walk across the street.
Yeah, I guess so.
Oh, dang it. I just cleaned the floor and then put my broom down, and then I found another spot that needed to be cleaned.
Mm. Oh, so I should mention, too, what I said earlier about Human Mother and the grapes.
Yeah.
So, all right, so get this, chat. So, Human Mother bought grapes 2 days ago. And they're good grapes, like I mentioned. They taste like freaking Japanese grape candy. They are so good. So, today, even though we have plenty of grapes right now, she bought more. She was like, hey, you guys really liked the grapes, so I thought I'd get some more because they're on sale. So, Human Mother given, if something is on sale, she will buy it.
Yep.
I have mentioned this to Ocha in the past and some other friends, but my mom buys so much canned soup that we could probably open our own grocery store with the amount of canned soup that she buys. So I was like, you know, if Human Mother was a customer at our store, she would probably go nuts. She would buy everything. Not that we need it. She would buy everything. Yeah, like we have, so what I did in our kitchen is I got one of those Billy bookcases and got cabinet doors on it. And we use that as kind of our pantry.
Yeah.
Almost the entire bottom shelf, almost the entire shelf is filled with cans of soup.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty much like if we looked at the big cans of tuna right here.
Yeah,
That's that's kind of how much there is.
yeah. Wow. Yeah, my mom used to be a fan of the extreme couponing show,
Oh dear.
so much so that she started to do it herself.
Uh-huh.
And basically, every time I would come to visit, because I lived in a different city for a while,
Mm-hmm.
um, she would just have me shop in her stash,
Mm-hmm.
and she just had like tons and tons of like makeup and shampoo and um tons of food and stuff like that. She just had
Mm-hmm.
all of this stuff all of the time. And
Right.
it was crazy just seeing how much stuff, and she's the same way as your mom. Like if it's on sale, she's gonna buy it basically.
Right. Right.
Um so yeah, it's been quite interesting to have that experience with my mom, having her
Mm-hmm.
like have basically her own store in our house where I would
Right.
just pick out items to take home with me.
Right. Right.
But I
And
mean,
it,
it helped out like my grandma and stuff too, because she would
yeah.
like take stuff to my grandma and things like that. So,
Yeah. You see, the thing that concerns me the most, though, is that she will, buy a lot of stuff on sale, but then she'll get things that are perishable.
oh yeah,
So, like with the grapes, I know what I'm going to have to eventually do is go through all those grapes and cut them in half and then put them in the freezer. Or
mm-hmm,
else they're all just going to go bad,
mm-hmm.
you know? I
You can
don't.
squeeze them and make juice.
Right. I don't mind it as much when it's stuff that's not perishable because usually that'll
Hmm.
last a while. Canned stuff will last, you know?
Right,
It's pretty rare that it will go bad anytime soon.
right.
And usually I try to, like, go through that pantry cabinet and clean it out and reorganize it so all the stuff that's going to expire soonest is at the front.
Mm-hmm.
So that gets used first.
Yeah,
But, I mean, this is the curse. I am very organized. Human Mother is creatively organized.
yeah.
And I say that with all the love I have for her. Because I won't say that I try not to say that she's messy. Like, I know she has ADHD, she gets distracted.
Hmm.
Like, she raised 3 kids by herself on the income of a preschool teacher. She has every excuse
Yeah,
to be a little scattered.
right.
She is a lovely, kind, generous, beautiful, wonderful person.
Hmm.
But even when I organize everything like that, she'll still dig through and find stuff at the back and pull it out. And then I have to go back and reorganize it again, and she'll do the same thing. And it's like, me, 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 me. Yeah. So, yeah. It's one of those things when you love people, there's certain things you put up with.
Yeah,
And, like, I just know that's how it's going to be.
yeah.
And I love Human Mother too much to get too mad. Although she has other things that she does that actually does upset me. But
Hmm.
most of the time, like, I mean, honestly, like I can't fault her for being who she is
Yeah.
because
Yep.
she's just a really lovely, lovely person.
Yeah.
She just
Yeah.
has quirks and foibles like the rest of us.
Hmm.
I haven't seen anybody stealing anything yet.
Yeah, I was
And
watching there for a while. I didn't really see anything
yeah,
either.
I'm trying to keep my eyes open as much as possible.
Trying to help Zachariah with the restocking a little bit because I've
Mm-hmm.
noticed some things are getting kind of low.
Yeah. Okay.
One man can't do it all.
Right.
Chicken.
Plus, it's a good way to keep track to see if, like, there's stuff that we maybe should have more stock of in the back.
Yeah, 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 for sure. How's our sushi doing? We could put, well, it's okay for now. Yeah, like our freezers are getting real low.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, do we have that stuff? We have some things.
Yeah, our cash register lines are decent. They're not getting, like, overly long or anything. And I think that's our last customer that's checking out now.
Okay, cool. All right. Fill these up. I know.
Okay. Let's see. So things are looking pretty okay over in the personal product section.
Mm-hmm.
We might want to start like organizing things by the section as well.
That's what I was thinking. In the back room, we would start doing that.
Yeah.
Just so it's easier for us to order stuff.
Right.
Although I wonder if they fixed the thing I was talking about last time, how the computer doesn't tell you what's on the shelf, only if it's on the floor. No, it doesn't look like they have.
Right, right. Do you want me
Um,
to list off things that I think, or let's make sure things are properly stocked first.
yeah, let's go through the shelves and take down
Yeah.
stuff and restock everything as much as we can, and then we'll do our
Right.
order. I kind of forget where some of this stuff is, to be honest with you.
Yeah, yeah, it's been a few days.
Um, so how's your week been so far?
It's been, I don't know, it's been interesting.
Yeah,
I'm not like super interesting, but like, it's life.
yeah.
I gosh, I'm trying to think if there's anything exciting. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I played Smushy Come Home again last night, and that was one of my favorite things so far this week.
Oh, nice, nice.
Yeah, I started over so I could have like an official VOD for it and everything,
Yeah, yeah.
and got further than I did last time I played because you watched the last time I played,
Yeah, I did. Uh-huh.
and I just really love that game, and it makes me happy.
It's super cute. I like the
It's
art style.
Yeah, it's so cute and charming, and I was doing voices, and it was a lot of fun, and I think it's genuinely like for a cozy kind of game.
Hmm.
It's really very like it manages to have a lot of adventure to it
Yeah.
without being, you know, uncozy, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um,
I think the small scale of everything, like, kind of plays into that a little bit because it gives it a little bit of whimsy. Like, it makes it
yeah,
more cozy, just because it's like this little guy. He's like running around. He's like smaller than
right,
a leaf, kind of a thing, you know?
right, right. And all the cute little characters and everything, and
Yeah.
they're all like just charming and happy and sweet, and
Mm-hmm.
they're like, "Oh yes, I need this thing. Can you get this thing for me?" Sure,
Mm-hmm.
friend. You know.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's not like it doesn't exclude that there are challenges to the game too. Like, he's trying to
Yeah.
get home. Damn it.
Right.
I'm probably picking up things that have already been refilled, but I'm just trying.
That's a small sushi. Okay.
Sushi.
Um.
Okay. I don't think we'll need to buy more pink yogurt
Okay.
because we have like 15 pink yogurts.
Yeah, we have a lot. All right, I think everything has been stocked as much as it can. I went through all of them.
Okay.
And what's his name has stopped. Zachariah has stopped. So let's organize this a little bit.
Yeah.
Do we
So
still want
maybe
to keep
here, let's
our?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How many rows do we have here? So we have personal products. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I guess it's kind of hard to really do it by rows, but I
Yeah,
think
but
we want the
we can
stuff that's
start.
maybe farthest in one shelf and then move
Mm-hmm.
in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so let's do like personal products on this shelf, and then we can do like
Mm-hmm.
the tea aisle on this shelf.
Right.
And just go around until like we get to like the frozen stuff on this one.
Right.
Let's do that.
Okay.
So
So
everything
maybe
has been stocked. So let's go ahead and do the ordering. Do you want to do the ordering, or do you want me to?
um I can order.
Okay, I'll tell you what we need.
Okay.
So do we have any more of that in the back? Because we had. No, we are completely
Oh,
out.
just a
So
moment. I'm gonna mute myself for a sec.
okay.
Sorry, that was my phone.
Oh,
It's a
you're good.
little hard to when human mother calls. I kind of have to pick up.
Right. No. Yeah, I understand.
She's a little old lady.
Yeah.
So here's the thing about human mother. So and of course I love talking about human mother because she's just so lovable. So human mother, when she drives, um, she tends to go back and forth on the brakes and the gas a lot. So it can be a little jittery, and
Mm-hmm.
it can make people a little nauseous.
Mm-hmm.
I've had a lot of history with getting nauseous in her car.
Yeah.
It's just what it is. But she's never really had any accidents other than
Yeah.
one accident with a car that was the other person's fault.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it was just obvious it was the other person's fault.
Mm-hmm.
So, but when she does have accidents, it's usually because she's driven into a pole or backed
Yeah.
into a pole.
Yeah.
Like, her spatial awareness. Like, there are people who have really good spatial awareness. I have pretty good spatial awareness. She
Mm-hmm.
just doesn't have that.
Right.
So, she backed into a pole again recently and decided she was just gonna, use our insurance, get it replaced, get the bumper
Mm-hmm.
replaced.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks so nice now. I was so used to it looking like all scuffed, and now it
Yeah.
looks like perfect. It's
Yeah.
crazy. I don't know how to handle that.
um.
All right, so do you want to start from hygiene and move in?
Yeah. Let's go ahead and just buy one of each thing in hygiene.
Okay.
Maybe two of the toilet paper.
The red
Just because
one?
both of them, the both toilet papers, because
Yeah,
we don't
they
have
tend to
any
go
in overstock.
fast.
Yeah, we don't have any in overstock, and I had to buy some in the middle of the day,
Mm-hmm.
today. So, and then just buy one of each because they'll fit on the shelf, like the
Got it.
shampoos and the soaps and stuff, and then that'll also let us set up the back room easier.
Right. Okay. What next?
Um, So next, it looks like rice is good. It's completely full. I don't know if we have any in the back room. Yeah, we do. So I think we're okay on rice. We could probably do with the raccoon cereal and the honeybee cereal.
Okay.
One of each of those.
All right. Okay.
Um, chocolate spread. I think
Um,
that's in the sweets.
yes. Pâte à tartine.
Mm-hmm.
Pâte à tartine. That sounds very
Um,
French.
yes, it does. Go ahead and buy one of each of the teas.
Altis.
Mm-hmm.
Infusion. So, 1, 2, 3, 4,
Whoops.
5, 6. Okay.
And we could also do with the chocolate powder and coffee.
Okay. So chocolate powder was in sweets and snacks, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So chocolate powder. Coffee was in
I can't remember which one it was in.
probably somewhere in basic products, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yes.
Maybe. Yeah.
Got it.
Okay.
Okay.
Um. Um. Let's see. Go ahead and buy bottled water and the green and red soda packs.
Okay. We made it to the tens of thousands today.
Yeah, we did. That's
We did
crazy.
well. Yeah.
Yeah. Um.
Mm. I just realized the premium soda, the white
Uh-huh.
label one, is called Boca Bola.
Boca-Bola. Yeah, that's funny. Boca-Bola. Yeah.
Okay, what
Um.
next?
Go ahead and buy one of each of the pet foods.
Okay.
And you could probably go ahead and do the canned foods as well in that area. Do one of each of those.
Okay.
Um, we could fit more the tuna,
Mm-hmm.
the Stark tuna,
Okay.
pate.
Got it.
Um, apple juice and orange juice.
Okay.
Um, milk and bread.
Okay. There's bread. All right. Milk is
Dairy, I think. Dairy one.
right. Right. I always think it's going to be with basic products.
Yeah, I do too, because it just goes on the shelf. It doesn't go in
Right.
the cooler
Right.
like the other ones do.
Yeah.
Um, okay, go ahead and buy one of each of the condiments.
Okay.
The ketchup, the mustard, and the barbecue sauce.
Okay.
We need hummus.
Alrighty.
I don't remember which one that's under.
Um. Basic products for.
Okay. I think sushi might be okay. Let me look. Yeah, we're okay on sushi right now. Maybe crab sticks and the smoked salmon.
Okay. All right.
Um, we have each of the yogurts still in overstock.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if you want to buy any of those, or maybe we should just wait.
Yeah, let's just wait.
Okay. We need the Parmesan cheese,
Okay, that is in dairy.
the Parmigiano cheese.
So the red one.
Yes.
Okay.
We need. Let's see. Everything, all the sodas except for the bottled sodas, I should say. So we need the Zap soda, the red label soda, and the white labeled soda. We have the black one,
The
so
Bocabola.
yeah, the
Bocabola.
Coca-Cola.
Yeah, it's better than Coke and Pepsi.
Mm-hmm. Okay, going into our like pasta and flour area.
Okay.
We need spaghetti.
Okay. That is basic products 3. Okay. Spaghetti.
We need the flour, the blue flour, and the it's called Supreme flour. It's red and white.
Yep. Got
But
it.
there's also one it's also called white flour. That's a different one, but
Right.
excuse me. How are we doing on that? Let me look.
We're at level
Okay.
22.
Nice.
Nice. Very nice. Okay.
We need the cane sugar box.
Cane sugar box. Yep.
And also the little bags of sugar, the Darren sugar.
Okay. I was going to ask you if it was Pablo.
Yeah, no, it's the Darren sugar.
Okay.
We could probably put salt and pepper out.
Okay. Salt. Pepper.
Eggs.
Eggs. Yep.
We're good on that. Let's see. We could actually fit the cookie jar
Okay.
in the sweets.
Yep. The cookies for cool
Um,
kids.
yes. The rest of that stuff looks good. We could fit the vanillate biscuits and the
Okay.
chocolate biscuits.
Okay.
Also probably the Madeleines.
All right.
And I mean, chocolate is really full, so
Yeah.
I don't think
I
we
filled
need.
it
Yeah, I
pretty
saw you
heavily.
doing it.
Yeah, we have
Um,
118. We're good.
Jesus.
I
Okay.
just wanted to make it look nice. Plus, it's chocolate.
Right, right. All right. So going into freezers then,
All
we
right.
need the maxi cone ice creams.
That I think is in sweets. Yep.
Is it okay?
Got it.
And then we don't have any in overstock, so go ahead and order the Bonbeck ice cream box as well. The Delit Tout ice cream box.
Yes. Okay.
We need both of the Burr chicken and vegetable mixes.
Okay.
That's actually in the freezers, one of the freezer ones.
Yeah. All right. So, yep, chicken and vegetable mix.
Mm-hmm.
The veggies are more
Um,
expensive.
yeah, it is a little bit. Um, we need the both lasagnas.
Okay.
We need the fondue.
Um, fondue. Fondue. Yep.
We need the croccante ham.
Yep.
The ham cheese crepe.
Yep.
We still have both of those. We're good on that. Um, okay, we have those. We need the green pizza boxes
Green
and
pizza.
the black pizza boxes.
Okay. So Big Tony and Mafia. Wow,
Yes.
they definitely went there.
Yep.
The only one that's normal is the Cheesy Piz.
Cheesy Piz.
It's
Yep.
Cheesy Piz.
Yep.
Yay.
And I think that's everything.
Okay.
So go ahead and order that.
All right. That is $6,710.15.
Whew.
That
Okay.
is over half of our stuff.
Yeah.
Oh boy. It's
right, I'm
raining
moving.
boxes. Hallelujah.
I love when it rains boxes.
I know. It's charming.
Okay, I've moved everything off of the first 3 shelves, so we should be able to start sorting stuff too.
Okay.
I will start focusing on that because I'm pretty sure he'll just start picking up the boxes after I place them down and start
Right,
putting that stuff in
right.
there. So, but of course, all the stuff I'm trying to get to is now buried
Right.
because of all the boxes raining down. Okay. So I'm kind of curious how these things are set up on the shelf.
Oh boy, that pile's high.
Okay, toothpaste and then toilet paper and then soap and then green, blue, yellow.
I'm just going to focus on stocking things.
Okay,
And then what I can do is I can put the boxes on the floor.
that works. I can start sorting them out. Green, blue, yellow. Well, soap and then green, blue, yellow.
La, 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 la.
And then it goes hand soap, avocado, egg, and then bath gel.
Mm-hmm.
Hand soap, avocado, egg. Okay. Toilet paper, perfect. What's that one?
Hummus. I actually really like hummus.
I do
A
too.
lot. I usually, when I make my lunch
Hmm.
for work, I usually make the same thing just because it's easier. I know exactly what I'm going to make. I know how to make it. It's fine, you know. I'm not too worried about how everything tastes when I have my lunch. I just want to make sure I have food so I am not starving.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, so what I usually do is
Mm-hmm.
I make a wrap, like a turkey wrap with hummus
Mm-hmm.
and lettuce in like a low carb tortilla.
Yeah.
And wow, that flew in the air when I put it down.
Uh-huh.
Then I make then I usually have a couple of different kinds of fruit.
Mm-hmm.
So like I'll get like blueberries and then maybe have like a clementine orange.
Oh, okay.
And I don't generally like to eat a lot in one go because my stomach's a little sensitive.
Oh, okay.
So I
Yeah.
don't like to eat like big meals. I like little meals. And
Yeah.
so I also keep like snacks in my drawer at work. I usually keep like some pretzels or pistachios or cashews because, you know, I do a lot of brain work and I actually get up out of my seat a lot because I help with the patients.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
So, you know, I'm moving around a lot at work. So I can't like not eat enough either. I have to be able to, you know, eat something to keep me from, you know, getting too tired.
Right.
I usually get and no, I'm not sponsored, but I will say that nuts.com is awesome because they you
Really,
could
I was wondering about that website before.
yeah, no, I've ordered from them so many times. Um,
Mm-hmm.
the I'm definitely not sponsored, you guys. I'm gonna tell you this, but I have only nice things to say about nuts.com. They deliver very quickly,
Yeah.
and you can, and the pricing is so reasonable. Um, I have gotten like almond flour from there that costs like half as much as if I buy it at like the store.
Yeah.
And almond flour is expensive, so like, you know, at the store, like for the same amount, I'd pay like $20, and I'd get it for like $11 at nuts.com.
Gotcha. Okay.
Um, you can. It's pretty much just bulk shopping, really.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So you're not paying for like the name brand whatever. You're just getting everything in bulk,
Mm-hmm.
and they have a lot of really good stuff. Like they have nuts, they have baking stuff, they have candies, they have like matcha powder and
Oh.
coffee, and like they have way more than just nuts.
Yeah. Interesting. I'll have to check them out sometime because I have heard of them before, so
Yeah.
it's very
Right. And they
very
usually like
interesting.
if you spend a certain amount of money, you won't have to pay for shipping. A lot of
Right.
places do that. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I'm signed up for their emails, so whenever I need to buy something, I usually check the emails to
Mm,
see if
yeah.
there's anything on sale or any coupons or anything.
Mm-hmm.
So I usually end up, you know, ordering just enough to um, get the free shipping and then get whatever like special uh, thing that they have. So like there's like seasonal stuff. Like sometimes they'll have like like I think right now I saw that they had like a Halloween or a fall trail mix. So
Oh.
they'll have things like that.
Yeah.
And you can get they have some things that are in uh, pre-packed in small packages, so like snack
Mm-hmm.
bags.
Mm-hmm.
But most of the stuff is just bulk bags you can buy by like the pound,
Oh,
um,
okay.
or you know things like that. So it's really convenient.
It sounds like it is.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'll
yeah,
definitely have to give them a shot sometime. Because
Yeah.
buying things in bulk is usually a pretty good idea to do
Right.
if you can.
Yeah, I think it's I'd rather, once a month buy from nuts.com and get like all the stuff,
Hmm. Yeah,
you know.
for sure.
Yeah, and you can get, they even have like sugar-free stuff. They have, I think they have some like vegetarian or vegan like snacks too.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Um, I mean, given like, nuts themselves are vegetarian slash vegan because,
Hmm.
they aren't made with animals.
Right, right,
But
right.
they'll have organic chocolate chips or
Mm-hmm.
things like that.
Hmm. Okay. So cereal, so rice cereal, peanut butter. Well, not peanut butter, but chocolate spread. Uh, let's see, coffee.
So yeah, I'm all about like buying things in bulk and
Hmm.
getting them for less expensive and
Hmm.
getting them without having to pay for shipping. Like another thing
Right.
I do, so like I subscribe to a lot of things that are just shipped to me, because then I
Hmm.
don't have to spend so much time like at the store buying things. Because
Yeah, for
I
sure.
don't really like shopping all that much.
Yeah.
I find it annoying.
Yeah.
But so I get my shampoo and conditioners from one of those companies that does the like you tell them what your hair is like.
Like pros is one of
Yeah,
them, I think.
exactly.
Yeah.
Pros. That's the one I use.
Okay.
And Pros is great.
Hmm.
Like my scalp tends to be sensitive and it tends
Hmm.
to get itchy easily. I have never had that problem with Pros.
Oh, awesome.
And my hair always looks really like shiny and good, and you can choose if it
Yeah.
has like um silicones or not in them, stuff like that. Like it's
Yeah,
pretty
yeah, yeah.
pretty specific.
Yeah.
I also get, so there's a company called Blue Land,
Uh-huh.
and they have like household cleaning products and hand soap and stuff. But what it is so you buy the dispenser,
Okay.
and they send you, instead of sending you like liquid soaps, they're in like a tablet form,
Hmm.
and you put put the tablet in water, and it becomes the soap.
Yeah.
So
I've seen things like that before.
right, and it's great because like you spend a little extra money at the beginning to buy like the special container, the dispensers and stuff.
Hmm.
But in the long run, it saves you money and it's more environmentally friendly because they are in small little tablets that
Yeah.
weigh less than things that are in liquid form,
Right.
and they use good business practices and stuff. So I like using companies that do stuff like that.
Yeah, I usually do too. I think it's good to be like environmentally conscious about those types of things.
Right, right. Which is why we're recycling our boxes.
Right,
It's
except
not.
for
It's not just the income that we get from recycling the boxes. It's I mean, like that helps, but
hmm. Hmm.
I mean, it's reasonable.
Right. Okay, so all the
It's
teas.
only logical, people. It only makes perfect sense.
Where is it? It's infusions, I think. Yeah.
Pet pet.
Um. Okay.
I realize I should be putting these boxes down in a more organized fashion,
Oh,
maybe.
it's fine. I'm getting through them. I'm just
Okay.
it's taken me a minute because I want everything to be perfect. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I struggle with the ADHD perfectionism a
Right.
lot.
Right. Well, it's funny because I have my degree in clinical psych.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things people always kind of tend to self-diagnose a little, especially when
Mm-hmm.
you're learning about something.
Yeah.
So it's very easy, especially with mental health stuff, to think you have everything. Because
Right. Yeah.
it's a little harder to measure everything.
Mhm. Mhm.
So I think one of the most common ones that people will think they have, but they don't, is obsessive compulsive disorder.
Yeah.
So, like, pretty much the rule of thumb with diagnosis is, there's all the, like, diagnostic criteria and stuff. But the
Uh-huh.
main rule of thumb is, does it disrupt your life?
Yeah.
If it doesn't disrupt your life, you're probably fine. You're just a
Yeah,
little
exactly.
persnickety about things, and that's okay. It's
Yeah,
okay to be
yeah.
particular.
Yeah.
Like, when I have like a light in the house that has more than one light switch, I like the light switches to all be down when the lights are off.
Yeah.
And I like them to, when the lights are on, I don't care as much for some reason. But,
Mhm.
when they're off, I just like the light switches to all be set for off.
Mhm.
That doesn't mean I have, obsessive compulsive disorder. It's just, you know, it's just, it's when it gets to a point where, like, it needs to be off or I can't sleep at night.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I don't have that problem. If it's off, like, it's annoying, but I don't. It doesn't disrupt my life.
Right.
Green
Yeah.
tea. Green tea.
I actually, when I got my autism diagnosis, my the doctor that I was talking with at the time,
Mhm.
pointed out that I have some OCD tendencies,
Right.
and it doesn't necessarily mean that I have like full blown OCD, just that I
Mhm.
tend to have some of the same responses that somebody
Right.
with OCD would have.
Right.
Um,
That's
but I've
that's
noticed,
not uncommon. That's
yeah,
actually
yeah,
very
yeah, yeah,
common.
yeah. Yeah. So I don't say that I have OCD, just that I can tend to act like somebody who might have OCD.
Right.
Um, just because like there are certain things like I do also have I've been diagnosed with anxiety and depression, which are also parts of like autism and ADHD. Like those just
Right.
kind of go hand in
Right.
hand
Yeah.
sometimes. And I think a lot of my anxiety kind of stems from those OCD things a little bit.
Mhm. Right.
Um,
Right.
and it makes life a little bit difficult.
Yeah. It's it's
'Cause you,
it's almost more that it's a coping mechanism than it is actually the root of the problem itself.
right, right, exactly. So it's like I'm being overstimulated because of my autism, so it's making me more anxious, and the
Yeah.
anxiety is making me want things a certain way because it makes me feel better.
Right.
So it all
Right.
kind of goes together like that, and
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
been dealing with that stuff a lot lately, and it's
Right.
kind of been why I haven't been streaming as much recently, is because I've kind of been dealing with that and trying to make myself not feel so bad all the time.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Um, but
Totally
then like this
understandable.
week, I've streamed like every day this week so far.
Mhm. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's like it's hard to say like how much it really affects me on my day to
Right.
day, because some days I'm doing great and some days I'm just like I can't get out of bed. So
Right, right. And I mean, that makes sense. And I think sometimes, it's a matter of making certain kinds of choices too. Like,
Mhm.
like if you're playing this game with me, it's pretty chill. And we're
Yeah, yeah,
pretty
yeah, yeah.
relaxed with each other. So it's not as
Yeah.
hard to do something like that as when, maybe either you're streaming by yourself, playing a high pressure game, or,
Mhm.
you
Mhm.
know, and definitely not pressuring yourself too much to be perfect. you know
Yeah, yeah.
like
Yeah,
I
that's sorry,
like,
go ahead.
oh yeah, like I was saying last night when I was streaming, and I say this a lot too, I am not the best person at games. Like,
Mhm.
and I know this about myself. I know that when I play games, my focus is fun first and
Right.
getting everything right second.
Mhm.
So, like, I'm gonna mess up, and that's okay, because if I'm having fun, then that's fine.
Right.
That
Yeah,
that
yeah.
that should be the goal. And I know some people are more like they have to get it all right, and they have to be the best at this game and that game. And
Mhm.
not to say there's anything wrong with that. I think we should have goals for sure,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but nobody should be pressuring themselves so much that they can't enjoy what they're doing.
Exactly, yeah, and, like, that's how I kinda go about my streams too. Um, like, I do want everything to be perfect, but I
Mm-hmm.
know that it's not going to be all the
Right.
time. Sometimes
Right.
I forget to, like, how you forgot to change your category for the game and
Right.
stuff like that,
Right.
and, like, I do that all the time,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it's just, like, you just kinda have to laugh it off and just keep going,
Right.
but sometimes my brain doesn't let me do that. So,
Yeah.
it makes it hard to still kind of have fun sometimes, but I mean, I
Yeah.
try my best,
Yeah.
and
Right. Right.
I try to keep in mind, like, I'm doing this for fun. It's not like
Mm-hmm.
I'm not earning any money with it yet, so it's still just like for
Right.
the love
Right.
of gaming and the love of streaming.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. And for
so
the
it
the social aspect of it too, of
mhm.
playing games with friends or like talking to people in
Yeah,
chat, and
exactly.
you know,
Yeah.
and I think too for like me, that's kind of why I choose the games I do. Like
Mhm.
I play cozy games. I also play horror games, but I play
Mhm.
horror games in kind of a cozy way, I guess.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
because I want the vibe to be that my streams are someplace where people can feel comfortable.
Yeah.
You know, and it's funny too because like I've watched a lot of other streamers. There are streamers I really like, but
Mhm.
I can't stand being in their chats.
Yeah.
And part of it is because they don't set very good boundaries with their chats. Or
Yeah.
like, maybe they have a certain reputation
Mhm.
that people watch them for, and it's not necessarily the same reason I watch them for. Like, there's somebody who I used to watch a lot who I think people were very, oh, this guy is boyfriend experience.
Mhm.
And he played into that a little. He's not doing it as much anymore. But the reason I was watching him is because he was funny and
Yeah.
he was good at games, and he also was very creative, and I admire that. And
Mhm.
so I liked being able to watch his streams. But if I posted something in chat about, oh hey, I really like this thing that you did, that was really cool, or have a question about the game, a lot of times it would go largely unignored, or like largely ignored rather,
Mhm. Mhm.
because he knew he could pretty much count on people coming to his streams for the more boyfriend experience aspect. And I get that.
Yeah.
Especially it's a business for a lot of
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
This is why I have a day job while I'm doing this. I'm not focusing on this being my primary income right now.
Right.
It would be great for it to be my primary income. Then I could work from
Mhm.
home and I could
Mhm.
be more available to help out human mother when she's not feeling well.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
know, that would be
Mhm.
great. I mean, that would be a
Mhm.
wonderful, end goal for this. But
Yeah.
you know, I'm in no rush.
Yeah.
I want to make sure mostly that I'm focusing on the right things.
Yeah.
And to me, the right things are using my streaming platform to help support all the authors who I know personally, who I love and deserve their books to be read,
Yeah.
and have some time to maybe clear through my Steam games a
Yeah,
little
yeah,
bit.
yeah. Yeah,
um,
for sure.
but I want it to be fun, and I want
Yeah.
people to feel like they can have fun, and that they can talk to me and feel like they know they're welcome here, because I don't like to exclude people. I like people to feel like they belong somewhere.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I like the misfits. I like the people who don't fit in, because I never always fit in. And
Right,
and
yeah.
and sometimes the people who don't fit in are like the best people.
Yeah, for sure.
Because we all know what it feels like to not fit in. And when people accept us, it means a lot, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, I definitely get that. Like I'm somebody who's has struggled a lot like trying to fit in with people, and it's not
Right. Right.
it, I don't do it so much anymore, but I definitely like when I was growing up, I did a lot of stuff I probably wouldn't do as an adult anymore just because it's not nice to do, or
Mhm.
it's not it's not good for my personal like self-worth and things like that.
Right.
Um, like I remember one time when I was a kid, I was friends with this girl. She wasn't super nice to everybody, and I
Mhm.
wanted to really impress her, so I kind of went along with some of the things that she did that I probably shouldn't have
Mhm.
done.
Right.
And it made me feel bad, but like I I still felt like I had to do it just because I wanted to fit in with her. And it's not necessarily
Mhm.
the best thing to do. It's
Yeah. Yeah.
you have to kind of be true to yourself and treat people with respect and things like that, which I
Yeah.
I definitely
Yeah.
wasn't doing at that point, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's hard to know when you're growing up like how to be a good human.
Right. Right.
Um but
I
yeah, it's hard.
Right. For me, I've always had this very strong sense of right and wrong.
Mhm.
So when I was younger, like oftentimes, like if there were people, if there were like kids or like, other people who I saw were being left out,
Mhm.
I would do my best to include them.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And I think I've always just kind of been that way. Like, I want
Mhm.
people to feel like they're included because I know it feels like to not be included and it kind of hurts.
Yeah.
But, and I've had people treat me like I'm not good enough because I'm a little nerdy, or maybe
Mhm.
I didn't always have the most fashionable clothes or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
it's just, to me, that's just stuff.
Mhm.
And that was just me, also being young and, not knowing how to dress because you're a kid. Like, kids will mix plaids and polka dots and not care
Yeah,
because they're
yeah, yeah, yeah.
kids.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But, you know, the hard thing, though, is because I'd always try to include the people who are left out, is that, of course, I'd end up with all these friends who are people who would glom onto me and rely on me a little too much
Mhm.
because I would be that person who they could trust would look out for them. But, that's a lot of responsibility, too.
Right.
And, I was just a kid. So,
Yeah.
there's always, like, some balance somewhere, I
Yeah.
guess. Oh boy, this is a
Okay.
mess.
I know.
What can I
I'm
do?
you're good. I'm trying to sort it as I go too.
Right.
It's taking a minute here.
I wonder if
Um,
maybe it might be good to have as many um, shelves as there are rows or something.
yeah, that's what I've been kind of working on. So I'm gonna buy some more storage shelves.
Mm-hmm.
I just need to move these boxes over here somewhere so I can fit another one.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, I'm quickly running out of storage space here.
Yeah.
So that was oil. So next would be the sweets. Yeah.
Mm.
So I need like
By the way, chat, I'm thinking of getting some more emotes. If there's any emotes you'd like me to get, like any ideas, because I really want like a laughing emote, like not the smug emote that's laughing, but like a laughing, like haha funny. If there's any kind of emote you think I should get there. Luckily, emotes are not expensive.
yeah, you can get some pretty good ones for not a lot of money.
Yeah, yeah. Like the ones I have, the person who did them, I mean, given they came with my model when I got them, or got
Mhm.
the model, because they were an extra, because the previous owner of the model um, just gave me all the art that came with it.
Mhm.
Um, so, ooh, look. Doop. I can put this over here. Okay. So they were already done by a really decent emote artist.
Yeah.
So they're they're doing some Halloween emotes right now that I really really want,
Ooh. Yeah.
and I very very much want to get at least one. I'm gonna have to be careful in terms of how much I spend, but because I don't have a lot right now, but I do want I really do want a laughing emote.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, Gaspin. There really are too many good emotes. I was actually looking at, so it's 88 Designs, I think is what they're called. I was looking at, they have so many options for emotes, and they all just look so good.
Mm-hmm.
And so the temptation is real.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and then cookie jar. I just saw it. Here it is.
So yeah, I'm actually thinking of that you can get like one Halloween emote for like $30. I was thinking of getting the one that turns into a bat because of the bat that I found in my house, in my
Yeah.
bedroom.
Yeah.
I think that would be really fun.
Yeah,
I
for
want
sure.
some like regular ones too. And I do really want to at some point also do a make a mascot.
Yeah.
You know, I definitely want to do a bookworm mascot, and I want it to be like a maybe a cross between a dragon and a bat or something. I
Mm-hmm.
think that would be really cute. Maybe they could have little reading glasses or something.
Yeah, that would be cute.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I have my mascot drawn. I just haven't animated it yet.
Mm-hmm.
I'm slowly working on emotes too, but since I don't have affiliate yet, I'm not really that pressed to do it, I guess.
Right, right. We can get you
Um,
there. I've been
but
trying lately, actually, to go into, you know, like when I'm at work, I've been trying to go onto Twitch and just, you know, lurk for people.
yeah, I really appreciated that
Yeah,
recently.
yeah. The difficult thing is because the Twitch app is kind of spotty, it won't stay on. So sometimes, like, my tablet will turn off, and I have to go back
Oh
in
yeah.
and pop back in.
Yeah. Okay, so let's um so
Trying to see if
next
there's
would
anything else we
be
can get some more some extras on, because they're not completely full. And then maybe that
yeah.
will help us figure out how many to actually get.
Yeah. Trying to find did you stock all of the condiments? Are all of those boxes
Yeah,
gone?
they're all gone.
Okay. I'm gonna order some more just so I can have a spot on the shelf for
Mm.
them.
Do you want me to shout out two things we could get more of? Or are you just trying
Not
to?
just yet. Give me just a
Okay.
minute. Once I get everything set, then we can.
Okay.
I'm just trying to
Make sure it's not too bad out there.
yeah, I'm just trying to make sure that everything has a spot and everything in the back room so we can
Yeah.
easily figure out what we need to order and stuff like that
Right.
from back here
Right.
rather than running out there and looking and then coming back here.
Yeah.
And
Perfect.
so, and then I need to put hummus underneath this. Which I just saw hummus over here, I thought. I might have just moved it. Yeah, it's right there. Okay. So then hummus, and then we start with the sushi stuff. So where's my sushi boxes? There's the big one.
I feel like I'm in like one of those like big box stores right now
Yeah,
in
yeah,
this
yeah.
back area.
Yeah. There it
One of
is.
the patients that we have was telling me the
Mhm.
other day that she went to one of those places, and she was like, I don't know what's going on with people, but people were just rude. Like they were like pushing each other around and like
Oh, Jesus.
just being
Yeah.
like just like she was trying to park her car, and
Uh-huh.
this guy was just kind of like hovering like in the parking lot so that she couldn't park her car and then other cars couldn't get around. And she was like, could you just, you know, move back a little bit? And he's like, no, you need to go all the way around the circle and come back to park in your spot. It's like, dude, just back up a little bit. It's not that
Yeah,
big a
right.
deal.
Right. Why are you the traffic police?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
I remember back when I was still living in California,
Mm-hmm.
around Christmas time, I was at a mall and I was walking to my car, and of course, you know, at Christmas time, everybody's desperate to find a parking spot.
Oh yeah.
So, like, they saw me walking over to my car, and they, ooh, why did I just hop? So they saw me walking to my car, and they started, you know, following me back to my car.
Mm-hmm.
And this is when I was, first driving. So I always tried to be very careful with how I
Mm-hmm.
drive. I didn't want to, crash into anybody.
Mm-hmm.
So I was very careful,
Mm-hmm.
and I was backing up slowly, and they started honking at me
Oh my gosh.
for backing up too slow. And I'm like, I was so tempted to just pull back into the spot and stay there.
Yeah. Oh
Because
no, don't
who
fall.
who honks at somebody who is giving you a parking spot? Like,
Right.
who does that? Like, that's so, like, selfish.
Yeah, it's not very
I
nice, is
don't
it?
get it. No.
Yeah. I just need a little section for the frozen stuff now, and
Right. Maybe we can move this. Oh my gosh, that is a pile.
yeah, don't look at it. Just ignore it.
You do not see the pile in that corner over there.
Yeah, it doesn't exist.
Yeah, it's just pretend.
Okay. So what was I on? Okay, so I need, whoops. Yogurt
Pizza.
now.
Pizza.
Do we have any yogurt
Pizza.
left over?
I thought I saw some yogurt somewhere.
There's
Um,
green. Okay, so
How did you
we'll
get it
do
that high? Were you
very
jumping?
carefully. Very carefully. I was not actually.
Oh my gosh.
So then blue.
Oh,
and
well, at
then
least I
pink
can
and
see what it
green.
is. All right, so
Yeah.
there's okay. All right. Pizza.
Mozzarella cheese.
All right.
Chicken.
Your thoughts?
Mm-hmm.
Cauliflower pizza.
I don't mind it actually.
I don't mind it either.
I think it's pretty decent.
Yeah, yeah, and I think part of it that helps is I'm fine with cauliflower. I don't mind the flavor of it at all.
Yeah.
I like vegetables. Like, you could give me just about any vegetable, I'll be like, yes, go
Mhm.
team.
I'm the same
Um,
way.
But yeah, like, I can't think of a single vegetable I don't like. It's really in how you prepare it.
Right.
Let's see.
One,
But
two.
yeah. I mean, I do not mind it. I think it's decent. Great way to get some more vegetables in your system.
Yeah, less carbs too usually.
Right. Right.
Unless you're really filling it full of like filler stuff.
Right. Right.
Okay. There was a box of the Black Label soda. Now I can't find it.
Oh, is it that one?
Might be this one.
No, that's French fries. Here, I'm actually gonna move some of these things out so it's a little bit easier to see.
Yeah, there's a box like stuck underneath this shelf, and I can't. Oh, that's what it is. It's underneath this shelf, but I can't get it because the shelf is in the way.
Oh.
Oh my gosh, this game! I swear. Okay, I need to move the
Here,
shelf.
let me wait, hang on. Because I've been able to get them out.
Okay, there, I got it.
Okay.
So that goes under there, and then this shelf needs to go back into place.
Okay.
There. Okay, and then it's red soda. Where's the red soda? I just saw it right here. Red soda, and then green.
Oh, the green soda's over here.
Yep. Okay. Green soda.
And then the white soda.
Yep.
Where do you want
Goes
that?
the second one right underneath the green soda right there.
Okay. Right
Second
underneath.
shelf down. Yep. And then after that, we can start doing freezer stuff. So I'll start along the wall. We'll do
Okay.
the green bean somewhere.
Okay.
Let's see. There they are.
I have a yogurt.
Green beans. Yeah, that's extra. I accidentally ordered it.
Oh, okay.
We're going to have a few things that I accidentally ordered because they were like on the shelf and I didn't see them because I
Mm.
just looked over them and didn't actually pay attention to what I was looking at.
Ah, okay.
And then that, and then pizzas. It
All right.
goes.
I have a pizza right here.
Okay, I need green first, and then black, and then red.
Okay, I have the red.
Okay, so red can be the third shelf down, like right next to the green beans here.
Okay,
Um,
that's the black. So black is the one above it.
yes, and then green would be above that. Okay.
Okay.
We might have to order that. I don't see it anywhere. And then,
Okay,
where's
this is the
that
ham
go?
and cheese one.
That goes up there. So then after that we can do,
Did I
yeah,
just
do
crash?
the ham and cheese crepe next underneath that red pizza box.
Okay.
And then we'll do this one. We need another shelf again.
Yeah.
Okay, let me just buy that, and I'll move these two down. I thought this was going
Okay.
to be enough shelves, but it wasn't.
Right. We're getting so organized. I'm so proud
We
of us.
are. Yeah, this is.
It's
Whoops.
it's gonna be so nice. All right, I'm gonna be
Um,
right back. I'm just gonna run to the bathroom real quick.
okay.
The
We're
curse of tea.
good. Yes. Yes. Please. Maybe I have to do it later. So let's just move this shelf for now. Okay, this isn't working. Okay. So then that was the croquante ham, and then it's fondue. Fondue. And then bolognese is here. Is next, and then what else? We need the vegetable one. There's ice cream.
All right. So I have a question for you, Ocha.
Yeah, what's up?
All right. So if money weren't an object,
Mm-hmm.
what are things that you would want for yourself that would make life a little bit easier, make it a little bit easier to be healthy, stuff like that? What would you want?
Let me think.
And again, money, no object. What would you want?
I think I would really like one of those like endless swimming pools.
Yeah.
That just like have a current that go against you.
Right. Those are
Kind of a
cool.
thing. Yeah, I think like it's good like space saving because it's not like the size of a regular pool and everything.
Right.
But I just yeah, I think I would like something like that because I love
Uh-huh.
swimming. I hate going to like public swimming places.
Yeah.
So I would like something like that, I think.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
Yeah. What about you? What do you
So
what do you think?
there are a few things I'd want.
Mm-hmm.
I'd want a personal trainer
Yeah, that helps.
and like a gym membership.
Mm-hmm.
I would want to be able to get a massage once a week.
Yes, massages are so important.
Yeah. I would probably spend more money on my hair. Like mostly I'm just getting it trimmed.
Yeah.
But, maybe, getting it dyed. One thing I've always wanted that I've never done, but I've always wanted
Mm-hmm.
is to get my hair dyed in like shades of blue and green, so it looks like kind of like ocean mermaid kind of hair.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
always thought that would be really fun.
Yeah, for sure.
Or even just to like, refresh my color or whatever, just try a few things.
Yeah.
Let's see, what else would I want that would be nice? Like a nice convenience.
Yeah, the massages thing is definitely another thing that I would say for
Yeah,
me. I
yeah.
I, I used to have a membership at I think it's Massage Envy. It's like a chain that's pretty
Yeah.
well known.
Yeah.
I used to go there every month and get a massage just because it was so like necessary for my health.
Right. Right. Wait, is our dude refilling stuff right
Yeah, I just picked up a box of ketchup. The ketchup was
now?
was missing, so I wanted to fill
Okay.
the spot.
Right.
Okay, I think I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't go there. That doesn't go there.
It looks like we have some extra boxes of things that we already have boxes of.
Yes, yes. So, oh, this needs to. Okay, I'm gonna put these here.
Yeah,
Um,
Gaspin, I think it is a tough question. And I think part of it is because I don't think we spend enough time stopping to think about what we need.
yeah,
I
exactly.
think we are taught that we should be, I mean, I think it's good to wish for things and to want for things. Even if we don't have them, it's not an awful thing.
Hmm.
But I think it's good to think about that because who knows? Maybe at some point in your life you can have those things.
Yeah.
You know, I actually really, like I think about because I did have a gym membership at one time
Hmm.
where like it came with like 6 free personal training sessions,
Oh
and
yeah.
I really liked it a lot.
Hmm. Hmm.
Like the guy who I was working with, he was like, you work harder than all the women and at least half the men
Wow.
that work with me. And I'm like,
Yeah.
because it feels good. Like,
Yeah, for sure.
I like exercising. I know there are people who hate exercising, but I like it. Like, I
Hmm.
feel like it's like I feel more in touch with my body. I feel like it makes me feel like I can do things.
Hmm.
I feel strong. Like, I feel like I breathe better. It helps with my stress, and
Yeah,
just
it helps you
overall, it's
release
healthy.
a lot of endorphins, which make you feel better
Right,
overall.
right, right. Because I used to run until I injured one of my knees, and that felt good
Oh.
too. And actually, one thing I'd probably want to do is get voice lessons again.
Yeah.
And it's not just for singing to me, but it's also just you learn a lot about how you breathe when you take
Hmm.
voice lessons and how you hold your body. And like a good teacher, like the voice teacher I used to have, so he actually taught. Do you know Beyonce was in Destiny's Child before
Yeah.
she did her solo career. Do you remember
Hmm.
the other popular group that was around at the same time as Destiny's Child called In Vogue?
A little bit, not as much,
Right. So
but yeah.
one of the members of In Vogue was trained by my voice teacher.
Oh.
So he was really good. He was wonderful. So my lessons
Hmm.
were like an hour and a half long.
Hmm.
We were robbed once. Oh my gosh, I was paying attention.
I know. How do we keep missing these people?
I don't know, but
That's weird.
yeah. So we would have the points would be or the lessons would be an hour and a half long.
Hmm.
The first half hour we wouldn't even be singing. He would
Right.
have me do Tai Chi
Oh,
and work
okay.
on breathing
Well, yeah, that's
exercises.
what Tai Chi's all about, isn't it? It's all about breathing.
Right, right. Because
Hmm.
he wasn't just like a voice teacher. He also was a former dancer.
Mm-hmm.
So like a lot of what happens when you're singing is it's you have to use your whole body.
Yeah.
And so when I was running, when I started running, I knew how to breathe so I wouldn't go out of breath.
Yeah.
because I had all that practice with singing.
Gotcha.
And so, like, the breathing was not the problem. It was just the fact that I have low arches and I'm prone to, joint injuries. So I hurt my tendon in I think it was my left knee.
Oh, yeah.
Took years for it to finally stop hurting. Like, it would stop hurt. I had to wear a patella strap, and
Oh,
um,
jeez.
it hurt for a while, and then it'd stop hurting, and then I'd get stressed out, and it would start hurting again. And it
Yeah.
took me, like, it took a long time for it to, like, literally years to stop hurting. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't have any problems now, but oh my gosh, it took forever.
Yeah.
It was pretty awful. So, but yeah, I think things like that, like breathing or like singing lessons or taking yoga or, doing, and you don't even need to, with like personal training, do things to bulk up. Like,
Yeah.
you just want to make sure your muscles are working well, you
Mm-hmm.
know? And I think when your focus is more on health than on appearance, you're going to look better anyway,
Yeah.
you know? But you're just, making sure you're taking care of yourself. And,
Right.
we kind of, especially in the U.S., oh my gosh, like when I lived in the Netherlands, like I was there during the summer, and in Europe, it's normal for people to take a month off. They'll
Mm-hmm.
usually take July or August off.
Yeah.
And everybody may do. The local bakery they like to go to shuts
Mm-hmm.
down for a month, whatever.
Yeah.
They can get bread from the store. They can make their own bread, whatever. It's not a big deal,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And at the same time, like, those people had that time to take care of themselves.
Yeah.
And
I
it
think
was expected.
it's so important to take breaks like that.
Right.
I wish it was more more done in like the United States. Like I do know some people that would take a whole month off, just like
Mm-hmm.
they're like paid time or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And they would take like the whole month of July or whatever off, like you said. But yeah, I wish it
Hmm.
was more like common in the United States because I feel like a lot of people would really benefit from that.
I think a lot of the issues around, like, obesity and, heart issues and diabetes and a lot of that, I think the root
Mm-hmm.
of a lot of it is stress.
Oh yeah, for
You
sure.
know, people don't eat well when they're stressed out.
Mm-hmm.
People don't exercise when they don't have enough time to because they're working like 60, 80 hour weeks when they really should just be working 40 at the most.
Mm-hmm.
We have so many people who are doing 2 or 3 jobs just to try to make ends meet right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think, we need to be more humane.
Yeah, for sure. It's really hard to take time whenever you're you have to work 3 jobs to afford rent and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard. Like
Right.
I miss whenever. Well, I say I miss. I wasn't alive then, but like for the boomers, for example, like they had it to where they had to work one job. One person worked one job, and they were able to support their entire family of like 4 people.
Right.
You know what I mean? And
Right.
now it's like you have to have 2 incomes just to afford
Right.
rent, and you
In
probably won't be able to get a house at any time soon.
Right. In the 1970s, you could buy a house just outside of San Francisco for $70,000.
Yeah.
Now, you know how much those houses probably cost? About $1 million.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's probably gone up so much. I was actually just talking with my mom about this earlier today. My best friend owns her house, and she's getting ready to move into another house right now.
Mm-hmm.
And they put their old house on the market, and she bought it for, I think, around $99,000. And that
Mm.
was like 8 years ago.
Right.
Um, and then she is selling it now. Uh, for more than double that.
Mm-hmm.
So in the matter of 8 years, the city where she lives has doubled uh the value of her home.
Right.
Like they haven't done any, they haven't added on to it. It's exactly the same as it was whenever she moved in, except for a
Mm-hmm.
few like plumbing things that they had to fix. But yeah, the
Right.
value of her house has more than doubled
Wow.
in 8 years.
That's
And
crazy.
yeah, it's so bizarre, like how much housing has risen in our generation,
Mm-hmm.
and even into like Gen X and Gen Z. Like they're gonna have a hell of a time trying to afford housing
Mm-hmm.
because it just keeps going up, but our rate of pay isn't.
Right. Right.
It's so crazy to me.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how companies can do that. Like a lot of the issues are investors buying houses and
Mm-hmm.
then doubling the price of them or whatever that, and then reselling them.
Right.
To where it makes it impossible for any like normal person to be able to afford
Right.
a house like that.
Mm.
Okay, so
So,
we need.
to me, like
Okay.
the way that capitalism works when it works right
Mm-hmm.
is you have to keep money flowing.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot have a select few people have so much money that everybody else is unable to afford things.
Exactly.
Because you need that money to move in order for that money to have value.
Mm-hmm.
If it's not moving, it's worth nothing. It's just paper.
Yep. I wish a lot of like billionaires realized this.
Right, right.
Like there's no point to keeping billions of dollars
I mean,
in.
at that point, it's collecting money like it's Funko Pops, you know?
Exactly. And there's no added benefit um like to your happiness to have that much money. There's nothing, it doesn't make you
Right.
happier to have that amount of money.
No. If anything, it
Um
just becomes a huge responsibility.
yeah, exactly. And you're like constantly worrying about it, but like,
Mm-hmm.
people who don't have the money don't worry about those things. Like
Right,
they just, worry about being happy with what they have.
right, right.
Um okay. We're almost out of money, so I think I'm gonna stop buying stuff. And then we can
Okay,
just go for our next day. Everything out there is
right,
stocked, so I think we're good to open.
okay,
Everything has a spot.
right.
So these blank ones are just things that I
Mm-hmm.
can't afford to buy right now. But
Okay,
everything else that's empty should have an icon to show
right,
you like what it is and where
right.
it goes.
At some point, we
Um,
could probably get a couple shelves over here too.
yeah, that's what I was thinking. So basically it starts with hygiene here,
Yep.
and then it goes up and down, left to right, across. And then it comes back over here to freezers and coolers,
Mm-hmm.
and then it continues this way.
Okay.
So it starts in the corner, goes around this way, and then comes around here.
Right.
So
Okay, that
it
makes
should be it
sense.
should be easier for us to figure out what we have and what we need,
Right, right,
because we won't have like boxes just everywhere, and we don't know what's what.
right, right.
Um, we do have 8 boxes of extra stuff that I accidentally ordered, but we can work that
That's
in
fine.
as we get through it.
Yeah, yeah. Absolutely.
Okay, let's go ahead and open.
All right. I'm gonna grab my broom.
Go for it.
Whee! Okay.
All right, I feel better about that because like the last time I realized that it was going to be a problem for me,
Mm-hmm.
the back room just being randomly like having boxes
Yeah,
everywhere.
I
Like
wasn't happy with that.
I knew it was going to be a problem for future me, but I did not want to deal with it last time, so I'm glad we did it this time.
Right. I'm trying to think of
Um,
other things I'd do for myself if
yeah.
I could if
Mhm.
money wasn't an object. And definitely I would travel abroad once a year
Yeah, for sure.
for at least 2 or 3 weeks. I'd
Yeah.
rather it be more, but
Mhm.
I mean, at least like what I could do is like 2 weeks actually traveling, and then maybe having a few days before and a few days after to recover from the travel.
Yeah. I think honestly for me the most important thing that I would focus on if money wasn't an object is just like making sure that the cash is flowing without me having to do anything, like having
Right,
like investments and things like that that constantly pay out.
right.
Or like my mom, her retirement and stuff is all in a 401k, so she's just living off of the interest, for example.
Mm-hmm.
um, I would do something like that with my money, so I never had to worry about like
Right,
where my next paycheck was coming from if something
right.
happened.
And
I
I
think,
still want to work. Like
yeah.
I even if I didn't really need to make money,
Hmm.
I feel like it feels good to have a purpose of some sort.
Yeah, yeah, I think
You
so
know?
too. In my current situation, unfortunately, I am not. I don't do well in a traditional job setting. That's why I'm
Yeah.
trying out streaming and stuff like that now.
Yeah.
Is just because I've had so many issues just keeping a stable job, and I
Right.
think
Right.
that's the biggest contributor to a lot of my stress levels is just like
Mhm.
knowing how I'm going to live basically because
Right.
you need money to live in a society, unfortunately.
Yeah. And I think
Um,
that's why you find a lot of people who do streaming.
mhm,
A lot
mhm,
of them are people who have a variety of disabilities or health issues that make it
mhm.
difficult for them to work
Yeah,
a traditional job. Like I think
yeah.
about Iron Mouse's success,
Yeah, that's what
you
I wanted to talk
know?
about her last time because we were talking about what was it, the AI thing we were talking about,
Mhm.
and how they were talking about how it's better for people with with disabilities and stuff like that. I was like, no, it's not. But
Yeah.
yeah, like Iron Mouse, she was bedbound when she started VTubing.
Right.
She couldn't even sit up in bed; like she had to lay down to VTube,
Yeah.
which I thought was crazy. Like she talked about it a lot.
Right. Right.
But now she's like, because of her success and everything, she's able to afford like you know, the good doctors and things like that that she needs, and she can actually
Right.
like walk around and like, you know, I think she has a wheelchair that she uses sometimes, but yeah, she can actually like stand up for periods of time and
Right.
stuff like that, and I
Right.
think that's so amazing.
And how can you not love her? She's just such a
Yeah,
sweet
she's so sweet.
person. Yeah.
Yeah, she's
Uh,
funny.
I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure she's the. I can't quite remember who the first VTuber I've watched was, but I think it was her.
Yeah.
It was just so it was long enough ago that like I watched like maybe a couple of streams and then got distracted by other things in life and
Mhm. Mhm.
whatever. But like I respect her for doing that, and
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
like I see all kinds of people like you find out that they have stuff like you know
Mhm.
ADHD and autism are common.
Mhm.
Then you have even people who have like acid reflux or
GERD.
what's the GERD, yeah,
Mhm.
and that affects your voice,
Yeah, for sure.
and yet still they're using their voice
Mhm.
to oh, sorry dude, I didn't mean to do that to you. You were just in the way. I'm trying to clean. It's funny how they flip over.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I really respect people for working that hard,
Mhm.
you know, especially because, with streaming, it makes it so much easier for people who would probably not be able to make any income at all to
Mhm.
actually make some income.
Yeah.
Like it, and also at the same time, they're doing something really important in entertainment, which is we get to see people who have disabilities in entertainment as well.
Mhm.
Because so
Yeah.
often you watch TV, everybody's they all look like the people that you see in stock photos. Everybody's generically good
Yeah.
looking. Everybody's
Yeah.
slender
Perfect
and
perfect
healthy
teeth
looking for the
and
most
yeah.
part.
Yeah.
Everybody looks fashionable enough,
Mhm.
unless it's on purpose for them to not look fashionable.
Yeah.
You rarely see people who have like cerebral palsy, for example.
Mhm.
And like at my work, there's a little girl who comes in who has cerebral palsy. Girl is smart as a whip. She's like, what, like 8 years old. She is so
Yeah.
smart. She can't speak
Mhm.
and she can't hold herself up.
Mhm.
But that girl reads
Mhm.
like a crazy girl. Like
Yeah.
I always ask her what she's reading. And of course her mother
Yeah.
tells me, but I always ask the little girl first
Yeah.
because a lot of times with people who are disabled, people talk over them or they'll
Yeah, they
ignore them. They'll treat them like they're not there.
Yeah, like they don't understand what you're saying.
Right. So I always kind of directly address,
Mm-hmm.
particularly this little girl,
Mm-hmm.
and I can see on her face she smiles. She's so
Right.
happy that I'm talking to her.
Yeah.
And some people just, we having this amazing, ability to stream and have us, get to know people for who they are,
Mm-hmm.
as people who have disabilities and as people who are just people who just happen to have disabilities. Like,
Right.
you see how everybody's a person,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Yeah, for sure. And I know, like, for my situation, for example, like, it, before I knew about a lot of my issues that I deal with on a daily basis, like,
Mm-hmm.
I was just seen as a lazy human being. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's not that I didn't want to do those things. Like I wanted every day to be able to hold down a regular job, and I wanted
Right.
to be able to have the energy to follow, my hobbies and things like that. But a
Right.
lot of times I
Right.
didn't, and
Yeah.
so like I can't understand like how people like streaming, for example, gives people like me a chance to enjoy their hobbies and to make money and to do all these things that people who
Right.
don't have those issues,
Right.
it gives us kind of the same chance at life
Right.
that some people take for granted.
Right. Like somebody
um
who's autistic, it's hard for them to socialize in person,
mhm mhm
but through streaming, because there's kind of that barrier, it gives them a place where they can actually be social
yeah.
and make friends,
Mhm.
and interact with people in a way that's a little safer and more comfortable for them.
Yeah,
And that's
exactly.
that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Like otherwise
um
they'd probably be really isolated.
yeah, and that's something that I've noticed too. Like, the isolation is a huge issue.
Right.
So even for me, like so I lived in the city for a while, and then I moved back to my hometown,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't have any friends here. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't have anybody that I can talk to on a regular basis, and
Right.
it gets really lonely. And people don't
Yeah.
realize that, like, there's people out there that probably don't have any friends other than their online friends,
Right. Right.
and
It's
it's
kind of
hard.
similar for me too,
Yeah.
because the area that I live in,
Hmm.
um, tends to be very skewed elderly.
Yeah.
And, here I am. I have my master's degree in clinical psychology. And
Hmm.
most of the people in my area, it's a very rural area. Most people
Hmm.
are farmers, and or they work, you know, jobs that don't require a lot of specialization when it comes to education.
Yeah.
And it's not that I don't respect them. I respect the heck out of them because they work hard,
Hmm.
but
Hmm.
it does mean there's a bit of a divide between
Yeah.
my background and their background.
Hmm.
And so sometimes it is harder for me to make friends because it's harder for me to find people closer to my age. It's harder for me to find people who, have that similar level of intellectual stimulation. And they're
Hmm.
out there. I know they
Yeah.
are. But
Hmm.
it's harder to find, you
Yeah,
know?
for sure.
So oftentimes what ends up happening is I connect with people online, and I have a lot of really great friends that I've made
Hmm.
because of that.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually so when I was like 12, 13, and the internet
Mm-hmm.
was like just becoming a big thing in most
Right.
houses,
Mm-hmm.
you had your computer room where everything was set up, and you would go and log on to the internet using phone, like
Yeah.
a phone modem
The.
type thing. Yeah, yeah. I made a bunch of friends back then that I still talk to today.
Mm-hmm.
Like, my first online friend, I still talk to him every single day almost. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's so crazy how it helps people just like connect with other people.
Right.
And the internet is like is such an amazing thing. Like, I want there'd always be like net neutrality, and I always want there to be like those options for people,
Right.
just to be able to, have a human connection with somebody else.
Right. Right.
It's so
Although,
important.
like, on the other hand, too, then you have, like, all these people who make the internet a horrible place to be
Yeah,
because they take all
like
their
Twitter.
stress out on everybody. And
Yeah.
it's
Yep.
like, even back when Twitter was new, it was still, like, the bullying app. Like,
Mhm.
it has
Mhm.
not changed in
No,
all
it
the
hasn't.
time it's been out.
Yeah.
I remember I was going through a hard time and I was being a little bit public with it because I was
Mhm.
younger and
Mhm.
a little more naive about how much I was sharing about myself.
Mhm.
And people were trying to follow me so they could get the dirt on the situation I was in.
Oh, jeez.
And these were complete strangers. And
Yeah.
I'd go and I'd look at their timelines, like or their or their feeds or whatever, and I'd see that they've been talking about me for a while
Oh,
and making up
jeez.
stuff about me without actually talking to me, and then they were just trying to follow me so they could find dirt on me, so they
Yeah.
could um, create more drama. And it's
Yeah.
like I was going through a very difficult time. I was hurting and I was being taken advantage of by somebody who I
Mhm.
thought I could trust.
Mhm.
And, I could think about that. How cruel can you be if that's how you treat people?
Yeah.
You know? But
Yeah.
then, I mean, at the
Yeah.
same time, like, like I am so glad I know you. Like,
Yeah.
you're just like, it's just nice to have friends that I can talk to and like just be totally chill with, and
Yeah, I feel the
you
same
know,
way. I'm really glad that I met like all of us and like the Scuff crew and everything like that.
right,
Just because like
right,
I feel like it wouldn't be as fun
mm-hmm.
to be a VTuber and to stream without you guys.
Right, right. I feel the same way. I think I feel like I don't think I would have gotten affiliate as fast as I did if it
Yeah.
wasn't for you guys.
Yeah, for sure. I
And
love supporting my friends and stuff like that. So
right,
I tried to
right,
help every way I could.
right. And that's why, like, a lot of times now, like, my big thing is, like, if I see somebody who is posting on Twitter who's saying, like, I don't have affiliate yet, I really want to get
Mhm.
there.
Mhm.
And that's why I go and lurk in their streams.
Yeah.
I'm just like, this person, they're trying really hard,
Mhm.
and that should be acknowledged.
Yeah,
It's
for
harder to
sure.
get partner. Like you have, it takes a lot of time, and
Yeah, it
that's just the
does.
reality. But affiliate doesn't take a long time if you have just enough people to show up.
Right.
I
Yep.
was really expecting it to take 1 or 2 months. I was shocked that that happened. But
Yeah.
I also think part of it is because of how I'm coming at it.
Mhm.
This is not just about me.
Right.
I'm not streaming just for me. I'm streaming for my friends who are authors and wanting to help them so that they can, people are more aware of their books,
Mhm.
you know. And I think, when you do things that aren't just for yourself, but for other people too,
Mhm.
people value that and they'll show up for you because they
Yeah.
already know you're showing up for them,
Right.
you know.
Yeah, I try to do that
So,
too. Like I even went on like Reddit and stuff, and there's a lot of VTubing Reddit subreddits and stuff like that where
mm-hmm,
there's people posting about, like, oh, I'm really trying to get to affiliate. I'm really trying to, make my brand and stuff like that. And I try to help them out as
mm-hmm,
much as I can too. Like I'll try
right,
to
right,
like follow them, and I'll check out their stream sometimes. And I've actually had a random person from Reddit like raid me a couple of times, and she's so
mm-hmm,
nice.
right,
I don't
right,
talk to her on a regular basis or anything, but like
yeah.
it's so funny how the VTubing community can be so supportive of each
Right.
other.
Yeah.
I think
Like
it's great.
anybody who's rated me, anybody who's come in, I try to follow them back. And
Mhm. Yeah.
anytime I see they're on, and if they, I always, when I go through my list of who I follow on
Mhm.
Twitch, I
Mhm.
always go to the bottom first. I see
Yeah.
whoever has the least viewers,
Mhm.
and if I know I'm not going to actively watch, I'm just going to lurk, I will go to them immediately and I'll just put it on in the background, maybe turn the volume down a little bit, work on whatever
Mhm.
else I'm working on. but I'm giving them that view, you know?
Right. Yeah, it's helping them out.
Right, right.
Okay.
Okay, so I think we're done for the
Yeah.
day. We're at
Yep.
level 23. Yay! We've
Yep.
leveled up fast.
Yeah, come look at this back room.
Okay,
I got everything full
nice.
throughout the period of the day. He's
Right.
stocking this cheese right now,
Is
but
this
yeah,
all
everything.
things that we have double
This,
of?
yes, this pile
Okay.
right here. So I've been watching it and trying to move stuff in as I can, but I haven't been able to do any of that yet. Um,
Okay.
but yeah, we're doing good.
All right. So maybe we should start reloading things.
Yeah.
All right. So I'll start with the personal care products.
Okay, I'll start with freezers then. The opposite
Although
end.
I think all the toilet paper is out there. I should be sure though. Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, I guess I could put another row on top because we have that empty one.
Yeah, you could if you want to. Might as well. Oh,
Yeah.
Zachariah knocked over my box pyramid.
Zachariah.
Ran right into it.
Zachariah Providence Sinclair. What is wrong with you? We'll have to dock your pay.
Yeah. These boxes are coming out of your pay, mister. That goes back there. And then green. Yeah, I'm not someone who typically lives a very organized life. Just because it's the nature of ADHD sometimes.
Right.
You have a harder time following routines and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And but like organizing this back room just made me so happy.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
it just scratched an itch that like
yeah.
I don't
Well,
know what it is about it. It's just it made it feel so much
yeah,
better now that everything has a spot.
yeah. Well, I think that's the thing in games too. It's a little easier to manage stuff in a
Yeah.
game than it is
Yeah.
in real life. Because in real
Yeah.
life, things can be really random.
So
You know.
overwhelming for no
Right,
reason.
right, right.
Okay, we're out of a couple things there. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Like one of my friends has said this to me a lot, that it's so funny that I play games like this because I typically wouldn't work in a retail location, or I wouldn't,
Mm-hmm.
have a store or whatever.
Right,
Um but like it's just something about the monotony of like going back and forth and like ordering things and then restocking and then ordering and restocking. It's just like it's kind of not necessarily like calming, but it's like
yeah.
it kind of gives you that sense of accomplishment a little bit,
Right,
like
right,
seeing your store grow and doing your best to like have stuff in stock all the time. And
right.
so I don't know, I enjoy a lot of simulation games. Like I play them a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think they're very they're very satisfying.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like it just feels like I did this, I've got it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think that may be partly why Animal Crossing did so well
Yeah.
during the pandemic, because it was just really just managing an island and making
Mm-hmm.
it look pretty
Yeah.
and having little friends, and then you can invite your friends over and make it a little bit social.
Yeah. I used
Yeah.
to play it a lot when I was younger. Like on the what was it on? Was it on the GameCube or was it on the N64? I can't remember.
Gosh, yeah.
It
It
was
was a
on one
long
of
time
those
ago.
systems, and
Yeah.
I used to play it like all the time. And
Right.
I also had it on the DS, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it was just like having characters that kind of like whenever you're not there, they kind of miss you. Like there's always
Mm-hmm.
somebody comes up, like, "Where have you been?" If you haven't played
Right,
for a
right.
while or whatever, it's like it gives you that sense of community that you might not have had in your day to day life, kind of a thing.
Right, right. Yeah.
But I really enjoyed the last Animal Crossing game, especially. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
it had a lot of improvements compared
Right.
to like the first few versions of it that came out.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Plus, the characters are super cute.
right. I finally got Raymond on my island like a few months
I have
ago.
Raymond too. Yeah, I got
I
him a
and
while back,
it's
but yeah.
funny because people are like, yeah, whatever, Raymond. I'm like, but he's a cat, and
Yeah.
he's cute, and he's a little office guy.
Yeah, he's a little businessman.
Yeah, he's so cat.
Yeah.
He was very much cat,
Yes.
and I love that about him.
Whenever I got the DLC for the game as well, the Happy Home
Mm-hmm.
whatever.
Oh yeah, I
And
haven't gotten that yet.
whenever I did Raymond's, I was so happy that I just like basically got to make him a little office for his house.
Right,
It
right.
was it was so funny. Just like picking out office furniture for this cat.
Right, right.
But that's what he wanted.
Mm-hmm. Egg
Speaking of
shampoo.
office furniture, I've been looking at a new desk chair.
Oh my
Um,
gosh, desk chairs are like, it's such a thing.
there's so many options. Like
Right.
how has this become a thing where like every company has a chair and every chair is like completely different from this chair, but then this one's ergonomic, but this one has like extra padding. And it's
Mm-hmm.
just like there's so many different things you have to look at. And I
Right,
was feeling
right.
overwhelmed. I finally picked one today, but
Mm-hmm.
it just like I was about to like I don't know. Like I was about to cry just having to pick all the like figure out which type of chair I wanted.
Right. Well,
And
like I had a gaming chair, and it was fine,
mm-hmm.
but it got scuffed up pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Whereas, like I know everybody talks about those what are they called? The starts with an H, but like they're like
The Herman Miller.
right, Herman Miller.
Yeah.
And like you can get a knockoff version of one, and it's still really nice. Like
Mm-hmm.
I have one at the at the Dragon Clinic,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not the original one, but man, it does help. Right now, what I
Yeah.
have actually is I switched out my gaming chair for an IKEA chair that I've had for years.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually been pretty decent. Like it's
Yeah.
not awful.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it can still be better,
Yeah, for
but
sure.
like the reason why I got the gaming chair was because the IKEA chair was stuck in a certain position, and
Oh, yeah.
I actually managed to get it back to somewhat normal.
Oh, good.
So that was nice. But
Mm-hmm.
you see, the thing is, it's so funny. I think I've mentioned this before about myself, but I like being high. So
Yeah.
I like my bed to be high.
Mm-hmm.
If I ever like live in an apartment building, I like to be on the top floor.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I like my I'm not particularly short or tall. I'm like middle height for a woman. I'm 5'6",
Yeah.
but my legs are long, so I like my chair to be up, set higher so that my legs aren't you know they're not sticking out all over the place. Like
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I like my legs to not necessarily dangle, but like be close to dangling.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's always kind of difficult because I need to kind of be really mindful of what kind of chair I buy that suits that.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, for sure. I wonder if almost like a drafting chair would be good for you.
Yeah. I've also been
Um,
thinking about a standing desk.
yeah,
Would be
yeah, I was kind
nice.
of looking at you can buy risers that
Right.
will go up and down that you could use on like a regular desk. I was thinking about
Right.
getting some of those
Right.
because my desk is actually built into the wall.
Mhm.
Um, it's like part of the house at this point.
Right. Right.
So I can't really lift it or anything or replace it if I wanted to. But
Right.
yeah, I was thinking about getting something like that to go on top of it that will help me lift stuff up and down so I can stand if I need to.
Mhm. That makes sense.
Um, yeah, it's like it's really important, especially when you're picking chairs, is to think about your body and how it is going to be, because you're going to be sitting for a long period of time, especially if you're a streamer or working
Right,
for home from
right.
home.
Like being
Like
a dragon, you have wings, so you have to think
yeah,
about,
yeah,
how things are positioned. Do you want to hide
yeah.
back? I find that high back chairs just don't work for me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But it's like I was reading a lot of reviews online about different chairs, and people were saying like, like yeah, good chairs are expensive, but it's worth it because you're going to be spending like thousands times more of that if you end up with a bad back
Yeah,
eventually.
yeah, you'll be
Like
coming
you're
to the dragon clinic to get chiropractic care.
yes, yeah, and like physical therapy and stuff like that. Like I've read
Right.
some posts where people had to have physical therapy because they would lean over. This one guy said that he hadn't got his eyes checked in a while, so he'd get really close to his screens to be able to read some things,
Hmm.
and that over time basically forced him to have to take physical therapy later in life because he wasn't sitting properly and his chair wasn't
Right.
great.
Right. And the thing that I think a lot of people don't realize is that when you sit, you're actually not supposed to sit in any one position for too long. It doesn't matter if you're sitting like correctly, like
Mm-hmm.
with your feet planted on the floor and your back is straight, whatever. You're not even supposed to stay in that position too long.
Right.
So it's important to have a chair where you can, like, move around a little bit, adjust your posture a little bit. um,
Or have a standing desk where you can stand up
right.
as well. Yeah.
Now for me, I have an under desk elliptical.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, so even if I'm sitting, I can still kind of use it, because
Hmm.
here where I live, it's winter half the year.
Right.
So I can't always just go outside and comfortably exercise. My favorite thing to do is go for walks, and I just
Hmm.
can't because of the way how the weather works here. I
Hmm.
mean, even though I'm an ice dragon, I still don't want to be freezing cold, you
Right.
know? So, I use my elliptical a lot, and it's great because I can do stuff and, get things done, and, you know, also, get some exercise.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's good to have that movement.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I was also looking at uh like a footrest to go underneath my desk just because
Mhm.
like you have to make sure that your legs are angled properly as well.
Right,
If
right.
you are sitting, like you don't want them to be dangling down a lot. You want them to be more like uh at like a 90-degree angle kind of,
Mhm.
or m- higher than that. Like you want them
Right.
to be lifted up a little bit almost sometimes. Um, but yeah, you have to kind of just do everything with it. You have to move, and you have to, make sure you're not sitting in one position like you said for too long.
Right, right.
But yeah, I think a footrest will really help me out too, because the chair that I'm using now, in order to sit comfortably like at the desk, I have to have the chair at the highest position it can be, and my feet kind of dangle a little bit, and
Mhm.
I will try to like rest my feet on the oh shoot, I didn't need this. Crap. I'll try to like put it to where it's like on the feet of the chair kind of a thing.
Mhm.
Because it has like I have like a rolly chair, so it has like
Yeah.
those little where the casters and stuff are.
Mhm.
And like it makes my feet hurt after a while, and like my legs hurt, and it's not great all around, like
Right,
so I,
right.
I feel like a footrest would really help me out a lot.
Mhm. Yeah,
But yeah,
yeah.
it's you have to think about so many different things, like ergonomics is a huge industry.
Right, right.
Especially in like offices and stuff like that. I worked at a typical office at one point in my career, and
Mhm.
they did an ergonomics assessment the first week I was there because they were so concerned about the health of their people that they wanted to make sure that you were comfortable and you weren't causing
Mhm.
unnecessary stress on your body
Right,
from
right.
sitting for so long.
Right. Yeah. Even before my at the Dragon Clinic,
Mm-hmm.
mostly I was just doing front desk stuff, but now I'm doing some medical assisting as well.
Ooh.
And it's nice to be able to get out of my chair. But even before,
Mhm.
when I wasn't having to get out of my chair so much, I would still, like, I would get up all the time out of my
Mm-hmm.
chair.
Yeah.
I'd even sometimes, like, go behind the desk and I would lay down on the floor and do stretches. And
Yeah.
my boss is fine with that, you know. I mean, she knows.
Mm-hmm.
She gets it.
Yeah.
And, you know, she knows, you know, I was always, you know, available to the patients and everything. So it's not like I wasn't using good judgment.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, now that I'm getting up a little bit more, um, it does help.
Yeah,
And
for sure.
the only thing now is because I'm doing more of the therapies on the patients,
Mm-hmm.
um, I'm doing a lot of ultrasound therapy on people.
Oh, that's interesting.
So yeah, so ultrasounds, like when it's not being used to like look at babies, you know,
Yeah.
that's what
Yeah,
most
yeah.
people know it's for. You can
Mm-hmm.
actually use it to break up scar tissue and reduce inflammation.
Interesting.
Yeah, yeah, it's actually kind of amazing. Why did I pull the apple juice when I already pulled the apple juice? I don't know. Anyway, oh, there's two apple juices. That's why
Oh, that's my bad.
we need a.
How many is in that one?
This one has 15. That one has 17.
Okay, let me take some off of the shelf and let you put those on.
Okay.
I'll fill up this box as much as I can. Okay.
All
So
right.
now you can put some of yours back on there, I guess. And I'll just sit this in this corner. Okay.
Hmm.
Okay.
That's good.
There we go.
All
Um
right. So I'll grab the other one and I guess put more on. Oh, you
yeah,
put the.
I just did.
Oh,
I
okay.
just
All
did.
right.
I got it.
Okay.
Yep, we're good.
Woohoo.
Hopefully those pastas will go out because we have a whole box here.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yes, cool. Cool, 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 cool.
Absolutely. Um.
Where was that? There it is.
But yeah. So sometimes my wrist hurts when I'm streaming because
Mm-hmm.
I do a lot of the ultrasound, and usually it's like
Oops.
5 to 10 minutes on just like, you know, using my hand to use the ultrasound wand on people's injuries.
Yeah.
And so yeah, so like last Saturday, my wrist was starting to really get to me
Hmm.
because I hadn't really taken time off to. Um, that's full. Um, to let my wrist rest.
Yeah.
So, you know, bad on me, but the past couple weeks have been a little bit different because of the holiday, so that affected how
Yeah.
I chose to stream.
Yeah.
But
Oops.
on a normal week, I'm probably going to at least take a Friday afternoon off, if not a Saturday,
Yeah.
just so I can recover from the work week. Because, like, you know, you're sitting playing video games, like, you know,
Right,
and
right.
while that's not a bad thing, you're using your hands a lot.
Yeah. True.
So what I need to do
Okay.
is figure out what my next hand cam stream is gonna be.
Yeah, I have a
Cause
couple, like I have some things that I could do for a hand stream, but I just haven't
yeah,
felt like doing them. I don't know
well,
why.
I have the two those two like DIY bookend things.
Yeah.
I really want to do one of those. I'm not sure which one. I might put a poll
Mm-hmm.
on Twitter to see if I should do the detective agency one or the mystical one,
Mm-hmm.
because they're both really cool, and I don't
Yeah.
mind, you know.
Yeah,
Okay, here
I
we
have one of those to do. Actually, I have two of those to do.
go.
And I
Mm-hmm.
have another Digimon. It's like a Digimon Gundam kit,
Mm.
basically, where it's like a plastic model kit.
Mm-hmm.
I have one of those that I want to do, and I have a bunch of Digimon cards that I haven't opened that I want to open on stream. Like I have so many things that I want to do. I just haven't had the energy to do them,
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately. So a lot of stuff's been kind of pushed to the side.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think like I have this one kit that I might just like do off stream and just like do it just for fun, just because
Mm-hmm.
I wanna put it together.
Mm-hmm.
But like at the same time, I feel like, well, that could be content.
Right,
Like
right.
it's so hard, like especially as a streamer. Like I don't know if everybody feels like this, but like whenever I have games that I want to play, it's like, well, I should play it on stream because that'll be content.
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel like I can't just enjoy playing a game by myself
Yeah,
anymore. Like I
yeah.
feel like I constantly need to be streaming or something because it's, you know.
Right, right. Well, I think for me, I have a few ways I think about it. So,
Mhm.
I have so many games in my Steam list that,
Mhm.
I kind of like, I have a few games I could be like, this is just going to be my chill out game. And I'm
Yeah.
not going to stream this game. This is just going to be for me.
Mhm.
Or, like I don't have my, whatever capture card or whatever it is set up so
Yeah, yeah,
that I
yeah.
can use my PS2 or my Switch on stream.
Mhm.
So I'm like,
Mhm.
okay, well those games on there are gonna be just for um, me to do when I feel like it, and it's not gonna be about that's not gonna be for streaming right now. That's just
Right.
gonna be for me to have my chill out time.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
I try to do that. Like, but, the thing is, because I work more than one job, like, I
Mhm.
don't have a lot of time anyway.
Yeah.
So, I really am trying to treat my stream time like it's time to chill out and have fun
Yeah.
and, connect with people and stuff. And it's so far like this is the highlight of my day and week sometimes
Yeah.
because
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
just I get to chill out, hang out with friends,
Right.
and
Right.
or get to know new people in my chat.
Mhm.
And like seriously, like sometimes people show up in my chat, I'm like, oh gosh, I wonder about this person. Wow, I want to talk with them, get to know who they are. Like,
Right. Right.
why are they showing up on my stream? Like,
Right. Right. Where did you come
and
from?
yeah, it's like, oh my gosh, how did you get here? This is pretty cool. Like,
Mhm.
welcome. I want
Mhm.
to know who you
Mhm.
are. You know,
Mhm.
and it's really nice. Like,
Yeah, for sure.
I like getting to know people, and I don't always have the energy to do that when I'm working all the time, or
Right.
so in a way it's kind of serving a double duty kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But at the same time, like I do realize, like I want to make some boundaries for myself so
Mhm.
that I'm not overwhelming myself. Like,
Right.
like doing these streams with you is great because
Mhm.
I don't need to do a lot of prep.
Yeah.
I know what I'm dealing with.
Mhm.
This is a game that we both now know really well, and it's comfortable, and we can just
Mhm.
talk.
Yeah, we can just chill and like do our thing.
Right, right,
Um, it's not it's not something that's like necessarily really important to get right all of the time. It's like,
right, right.
you know, stuff's gonna happen, but
Yeah, yeah, and that's just what it is.
yeah.
But and it's I've been thinking about things like how often with a game do I want to treat it like it is, like how completionist do I want to be with a game? Like,
Right, right.
like playing Layers of Fear, I'm kind of frustrated at this point because I keep having the game crash. So I'm like,
Oh,
I'm just going to stop for now. I'm not going to stress myself out over a game. And
yeah.
even if I
That's
want
not
to play
worth
the
it.
whole thing and, you know, I love the game, it's like, you know, like on Sunday, I switched to playing. I'm on observation duty because I made
Mm-hmm.
sure I had games on my, you know, downloaded on my computer in case one game doesn't work. I have
Yeah.
another one,
Right.
you know, and so that was fun.
Yeah.
And you know, I didn't stress over it. You know, I still want to get back to finishing Players of Fear, but you know, it's just not going to happen right now.
Yeah. Sometimes it gets too frustrating, and you just like it
Yeah,
kind of takes the fun out of it if you can't
right.
enjoy it, the way
So
that you
yeah,
want
like
to.
yeah, like with Smushy Come Home. I mean, oh my gosh, I want to play that entire game.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to keep
Yeah, for
playing that
sure.
until it's done
Yeah.
because it's great.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that
Um,
the thing I keep saying is, oh, it's charming.
mm-hmm. It is.
And
It
I
really
like
is.
being charmed.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah.
know?
Okay. Okay, he stopped stalking, so I guess everything must be full for what we have now.
Yeah, yeah, I think so.
So I'm going to. We only have a little bit of money left, so I'm gonna try and restock
What is
what
this
we
box
can,
doing over here?
like that. And what's
Oh,
the
that's the cat
other?
food.
That's the
Look
mango
at
soap,
her.
and then red beans and orange juice. Red beans, orange juice.
Oh, hey,
Um,
LT, how you doing today?
Pablo and
Cola
let's see
pack.
this one. Is
Cola
that the right
pack.
one, or is it the other one?
Cola pack. Okay.
No, it's the other one.
Okay. So we have an extra that. Okay. Like, okay, let's see. What do we do here?
What is it?
Oh, the
Oh,
extra cola pack. And I guess these are the extra ones here.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna stop lifting them up then. And
Okay.
I'm gonna run to the bathroom again.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, good. I'm glad you're doing well, LT. That's great.
Okay. Excuse me. Pepper, eggs, oil, eggs. Where is eggs? Is that? Hmm, there they are. I was on the right one. Okay. Eggs, oil, and then the cakes, chocolate, and jam. It's the second one, isn't it? Yeah. Cakes, jam, chocolate. Where are we at? Okay. And then mustard and barbecue sauce and crab sticks. Mustard, barbecue. This might be it. Crab sticks. Yeah, I can't afford crab sticks. Can I afford butter or Parmigiano Reggiano? Um, I can afford the Parmigiano Reggiano. Okay, and that might be it. Okay. Mm,
Okay.
Welcome back.
Yay!
All right, so I've purchased everything that I can as far as like what we can afford currently.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we're good to go. He's still stocking stuff, so
Mm-hmm.
there's like, I guess a little bit of the stuff that I just bought can go out.
Right.
Um, we have most everything now, so I think we're good. So whenever you want to close the store, you can. Um,
Do
I think I
we
have everything in now.
do we want to unlock anything like the 20% faster or
Oh, that's a good point. Um, let's see.
I mean, we can have the cashiers, handle things a little faster. That's fine. You're
Yeah, let's
doing
do that
well,
one.
but
Yeah,
yeah,
let's do the cashier one, and then
the
maybe
faster.
um well, the only employee we have to worry about for that, I think, is our restocker.
Yeah, and there's also
So
one specifically for restocking with the
is
seafood.
there?
Its employees will place products faster.
Yeah, let's do that one,
Okay.
and then maybe
Yeah.
we'll save our points for our next big upgrade or something.
Yeah. The next ones, it looks like we have either basic products 5
Mm-hmm.
or sweets and snacks 3
Okay.
and hygiene 3 as well.
Okay.
Ooh, sweets and
Um.
snacks. We get peanut butter and strawberry jam and hazelnut
Ooh.
biscuits and marshmallows.
Yeah. Okay. That one sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
Um. Hygiene 3, we get shampoo for babies. And double-sided toilet paper.
LT, I'm not sure. I posted the picture of the dress. I didn't post it in the general chat. I posted it in the chat that's specifically for me in the Discord. So it might be that you have to look there.
Yeah,
I,
Aspen General, I think, is where it
yeah,
was, right?
yeah. Because, I'm trying to make sure, we have the general chat for everybody, but I want to make sure if it's stuff specific for me that I post it under my section. And I'm not sure. It's been a while since I've looked at how things are set up.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, I would take a look. I'm not sure if there's anything specific you need to do to go into seeing my chat.
Um,
You didn't, did you set it up so there are certain like things you have to choose,
there is a
Ocha?
role that you might have to have.
Mm-hmm.
Let me double check and make sure that LT has the correct role. Hold on just a second.
Okay.
Discord is what I need.
Yeah.
Let's see. Members. Yeah, so I'll go ahead and change it so that LT can see. There is
Right.
a like under our rules and roles, I did make a thing that to welcome to our server, I made
Mm-hmm.
all of our personal channels hidden
Oh, okay.
unless people verify that they've read the rules.
Mm-hmm.
And so far not a lot of people have really noticed it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure how to go about really enforcing that.
Right, right,
I might just get rid of it.
right,
But I just wanted like an extra layer so that like our space wasn't invaded by like bots and stuff like that.
right, right.
But unfortunately, because of the way that Discord works, because I set it up as a
Mm-hmm.
community server,
Right,
I have to have some channels visible to just people who aren't that don't have roles.
right, right.
So there has to be at least, I think, 5 or 6 channels that are open to everybody, even if they're
Mm-hmm.
not like verified and have read the rules and everything.
Right,
So
right.
it was hard to decide like what I should hide and what I should
Mm-hmm.
make available.
Right.
So unfortunately, it's still kind of being
Yeah.
a work in progress for our server, but
Right. So I actually just posted the link to the dress. I got it on Amazon.
mm,
So I posted that into chat. So we were robbed again.
how is this happening?
I didn't notice anybody. I mean, we only lost $21, so like big
Yeah.
whoop. But
Yeah.
like, yeah, yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Maybe we should invest in one of those detectors.
Yeah, yeah,
It's $900, so whenever we get some more money, we'll do
yeah.
that.
And we'll make enough.
Yeah. All right, we're open.
Yeah, in the meantime, I'm just going to march around. I think what happens is sometimes, like, I'm standing and watching near the front. I've been pretty
Mhm.
consistent about that. But,
Mhm.
every once in a while, some dirt shows up or some trash
Yeah,
shows
and you have to
up.
kind of walk away. Yeah.
Right, right.
Okay. I'm done messing with this back room for right now, so I'll come out and
Right,
help you watch.
right. So, Gaspin, I only got that one. I would have gotten more, like, more versions of the dress because I really liked it. But I got that one, and then I got like a sweater dress for the winter because it's going to start getting cold where I live fairly soon. And you can never have enough sweaters in the winter when you live in the area that I do.
True. Like I feel like a sweater dress would be so comfortable.
Yeah, yeah. I what I want to do though is get like a wide belt for it
Yeah.
because they can also kind of feel like sacks when you wear them.
Yeah. It's important to make sure that you have your contours
Yeah,
of your body
right.
accentuated.
Exactly. I want to look fashionable. Like, I don't want to look like a potato sack. And
Right.
I don't have to look like super like runway ready or anything, but I like, especially when
Yeah.
I'm at work, I like to look nice.
Mm-hmm.
I work in an office type of job where I can dress nicely, and so I will.
Yeah.
So yeah, I usually at work, like at my day job, I wear nice clothes.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure.
I'm actually really happy because with the winter, with the weather cooling off, I have. Um, oh, hi Ella, how you doing? Were you streaming? I thought I saw that you were streaming today earlier. Um, but yeah, yeah. So with the yeah, Wednesday's your day off. That's it's good to have a day off in the middle of the week, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Wednesday is my day off from my day job, so it's kind of nice. I love seeing you jump around.
I just like getting on top of stuff.
Yeah. Woo, woo,
Yeah.
yay,
If
party.
you get up here, you can actually hop up on top of the shelves.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
And then you can crouch with C. You can just be a little gremlin up here with your broom.
Right, right, yeah. But yeah, so like, I'm not in general, like in my casual, like, at home time. I
Hmm.
don't really care what I'm wearing.
Yeah, I'm the same
I
way.
have a collection of Tea Turtle t-shirts and was
Ah,
it
Tea Turtle.
right, and what's the company, Pop something leggings.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So pretty much, usually when I'm at home, that's what I'm wearing. I'm wearing my oversized Tea Turtle t-shirts and some
Mm-hmm.
leggings, and
Mm-hmm.
sometimes a hoodie, and some socks. And I'm like, yeah, I'm cozy, I'm comfy. This is my life. I mean, right now I'm actually wearing jeans, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm wearing a shirt that I got for free